You're listening to M.T.V.B. Podcast. Movies, TV, video and board games. This show may contain swearing.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the M.T.V.B. podcast. It's the podcast that talks about movies, TV shows, video games and board games. I'm your host Anthony, as well as most people know me as the Ant-Man, and welcome. This episode is going to be talking about our top 5 comic book TV shows of all time. And who better to talk about comic books than obviously the guys I normally have for comic book knowledge, the legends of podcasting, the full cast, may I add. How are you guys?
Very well, thank you very much.
Introduce yourselves around the table, please.
Well, as we do on the YouTube channel, I'm Stuart.
I'm Ross.
And I'm Rob.
And we're the Legends of Podcasting.
And you want to do a little plug for your
podcast?
podcast?
Of course, yeah. So if anyone who doesn't know who we are, because we're awesome now, we do have a reaction channel on YouTube. Well, basically, we react to all superhero shows. So at the moment, we're reacting to The Flash, Lois, and Superman and Lois. We're also doing the Star Wars Bad Batch. And we've been doing it for about 3 years now. Loads of shows on there. We do have a Patreon with full reactions as well. If you come and follow there. We're also on social media as well, so come find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And as well, not that we're competition with you, but we also do podcasts as well. So where you're listening to this, type in Legends of Podcasting and you'll find our podcast to listen to as well.
Exactly. And then you fans, type in MTV and listen to me as well.
All right. Share the love.
Share the love, yeah, that's all we need. So yeah, guys, thank you for coming onto the show. It's good to be back in the studio / conservatory.
But it's good to see each other's faces after a long lockdown.
Exactly. Guys, and Rob, welcome. First time on the show.
Yeah, these guys will let me out of the studio for the first time to voice my unpopular opinions.
Exactly.
It's a trial run. We'll see how he gets on.
We'll see if he gets on, see if we come back. So yeah, okay. So let's start off with a few questions. And again, if you guys have got any afterwards, please throw them in. So unless it doesn't spoil any of your top 5s, can any of you guys remember the first comic book show you watched?
Oh man,
yes.
Well, I'll go first. So clearly, mine was obviously going to be the Adam West Batman. It used to be on Channel 4 religiously, like half 6 in the afternoon, wasn't it?
Yep.
Every Wednesday or something, and it was always the show that was always on before something you wanted to watch on Channel 4. So you kind of sat through Batman to watch it. Did you guys have anything similar to that at all? Or
no, yeah, I got but 66 show as well. I used to love watching that. The movie I've watched countless times, and I've even got the Blu-ray box set. And watched all the series now, and you know, it is what it is.
It gets worse as it gets.
I mean, it kind of does because they lost more and more money. Like the last season is awful. But fact, if that show didn't happen, the comic book was about to be cancelled. So without that show, Batman would have been cancelled, and all the cool Batman stuff we've had since then probably never would have happened.
Wow, I never knew that.
So it was literally like the sales were really struggling, and then this show came out, and suddenly household name again, and it became the biggest selling comic book.
Batman got his shark spray, and they were like, money.
Yeah, all the monies. All the monies. I mean, I've got a few things I used to watch as a kid that don't spoil the top 5. So there was
go for it.
There was like a superhero action hour, like on BBC, like back in the day, which had like the old, I think it was like 80s or 90s, definitely, but it was like an Iron Man show. Yeah. Hulk show, and then this Fantastic Four show, which had the coolest theme tune ever, which I still listen to now.
And Silver Surfer was in there as well.
Yep. Oh yeah, and the Silver Surfer, yeah, as well.
Is it 60s?
No. It's later than that. It must be 80s. I think.
Okay.
I think it was 90s.
It was 90s.
90s as well. I thought it was before like the old X-Men and stuff. But maybe.
I think it was around the same time.
Yeah. I was going to say, because that's, although I remember the 66 Batman, that was kind of my first introduction, was that superhero hour with the generic sort of list of Marvel. Your top properties. So I distinctly remember the Iron Man one for the awesome intro it used to have.
Yeah, he used to have the mullet as well, didn't he? And he had that like big robotic arm that he used to hammer.
Yeah, and he had the suitcase thing, which is why in Iron Man 2 when he gets the suitcase, I'm like, oh, that's really cool because that's from that cartoon. He used to have a suitcase that pulled out and he just sort of step into it. exactly the same way.
And that was on BBC.
Yeah, it was like
Live and Kicking,
before.
wasn't it?
Before I think it was before Live and Kicking.
I remember definitely watching it with Live and Kicking, but maybe it was on before.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like this hour of cool
Getting
cartoon.
up on Saturday morning to go down and watch
yeah,
that.
man.
Yeah.
It'd be a reason to get up on Saturdays.
Way back before they had all the streaming service, so you could just watch it whenever you want.
Yeah.
I was talking to these guys. I think we spoke about it before.
Should we make a drinking game out of this and say how we take
When
a
we're
sip every
old.
time? We're like, back in the day.
Back in the day when we could only have VHSs with like 3 episodes on, just have to watch on repeat all the
Also,
time.
you used to just record the action hour because you can
Yeah.
watch
Yes,
it back.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I used to do.
Or if you record on long play, you get 6 episodes. So we got yours and Rob's.
I'm
Ross?
thinking the only other show I can think of without spoiling anything was the Hulk show.
Okay.
The old one.
Live action one. Yeah.
Oh, man.
I didn't remember. Yeah, I don't remember many episodes, but I do remember watching it, and the Wonder Woman one as well.
Oh yeah.
They're the only ones I can think of without spoiling anything else that I used to watch.
The Hulk show where he got increasingly contrived situations to make him angry.
Yeah,
Including
Yeah.
and
changing
he
a
got
tire.
judged by Stan Lee in the jury box.
Yes.
that was
yeah.
just one cameo.
I think that was because there was like 3
Before there was Marvel cameos.
three movies. I don't ever remember watching the TV show. I remember the movies, which is like the one with Thor, one with Daredevil, and then just his one. But yeah,
Yeah, he teams up with Thor. In an
yeah.
episode,
I
doesn't he?
thought it was a movie. That was a movie.
Oh, it was a movie, sorry,
I
that was
think,
a
I
movie.
think I'm not too sure, but yeah.
I remember that when he's like, Odin! And he sees him transform.
Where's the goblin? Where's the goblin?
Yeah, so obviously you guys appreciate do you guys appreciate the not so popular comic book characters that have their own shows now? Like Iron Fist and Jessica Jones.
I was always a massive fan of Iron Fist, so I was really happy when they announced it.
Oh, fair enough.
But
So any other ones?
But no, I like the fact that the Netflix got that deal and they did those 4 shows. Like you say, Jessica Jones, I knew her from the Alias comic book series.
Yeah,
that came
okay.
out, and I only bought that because I thought it was to do with the Alias TV show from years ago.
Oh, the Jennifer Lawrence
Yep.
one. Not Jennifer Lawrence,
Garner.
Jennifer Garner, sorry.
Yeah. So I opened it up and went, "What on earth is this? Alcoholic superhero? This is fun."
Yeah, it's interesting.
That's my kind of stuff. I think it's great the fact that I've known a lot of superheroes growing up reading comic books, but some of the ones that have come out, I mean, like the latest thing at the moment with the Eternals, for example, know nothing about that, but really excited to learn about it.
Sure.
So actually watching shows, like even the ones we react to, if we know a lot about it, it's sometimes better because we pick up all the Easter eggs. But then there's a few episodes shows we watch where we know not that much, and it's actually really cool to be like, oh, what the hell is this? It's
You've
like
got
really,
no judgment, have you?
yeah, no preconceptions of it and stuff. Why have they done this like this? It's like all this kind of thing. So
I think Doom Patrol's a great.
Yeah.
great
yeah,
one.
no, nothing about Doom Patrol.
Swamp Thing in that vein as well. Like,
Yeah.
we wouldn't have seen him as a TV character at all. Why would you have that character? And then they've made this awesome show on HBO.
Yeah.
So.
Is there any ones that you're looking forward to? So I think Moon Knight's filming at the moment or something.
If that
there's-
retains the tone of the comic, then I'm all in for that. But
Okay.
yeah, that's,
Any others?
What was I think? Loki, I'm looking forward to because I feel like
Okay.
that could just be crazy, and Tom Hiddleston's amazing. So
Yeah, the Marvel shows have really. I wasn't really looking forward to the Marvel shows, but they've both, the two that have been so far, WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier, have been so good. Man. They've been like okay. Anthony's
One
face.
Division was all right.
Okay, that's another podcast. But no, I mean the quality of them. and
I
stuff,
agree
think
with
is
that. Do you remember I complained at the end of the last episode?
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I did feel that.
Ah, so you and me need to talk.
Yeah.
That last episode kind of let it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
great. What else is actually coming out that's new? I know we've got like Titan season 3's coming out, which we'll react to. I don't know the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. I mean, they're not really superhero shows, but I guess
Are Jedi
He's-
superheroes?
I mean they're just doing their job.
I mean,
That's what
everything
they-
that the Star Wars.
Hang on, let's go back to
good.
what you said earlier. So you're comic book gurus, but you don't know the Eternals. I
Well,
need to hire
I-
some new
well-
comic book gurus.
I had to explain them at the beginning. Of the
Yeah.
Ah, so you knew then.
Yeah,
I only know so much, man. It's like it's a lot to learn.
Yeah.
My poor brain can't take it.
my excuse is that I'm more of a DC fan, so I always
That's
follow
fair.
Jack Kirby down to the.
So pass it to these guys.
Yeah.
It's your fault.
Nice, pass the buck. Like it.
Yeah. So going back to that question about these other characters that have their own TV shows, is there anyone you would like to have as their own film at all?
Boost the Gold.
Yeah, Blue Beetle boost the
own
gold.
film or own TV show.
So these side characters that have their own TV show that haven't been in a movie, is there any one of those you'd like to has a like Stargirl the movie, Swamp Thing the movie,
okay.
or Doom Patrol the movie, or something?
Potentially like one, but it's going to spoil in my top 5. But yeah, there's one.
Or
I'd love to.
the
I mean,
Charlie
I would
Charlie Cox's
like
Daredevil.
I would like the Jason Todd from like Titans to be in a movie with Batman with the Red Hood storyline. I'd love that.
With Ben.
But Ben would be top of the line, but I feel like anybody, to be honest with you.
You white, so you Ben Affleck. Well, that'd be interesting. No, yeah, because he's mentioned, or sort of mentioned in the films, isn't it? But it doesn't really.
Yeah.
The character never pops up, does it?
The one that
see the suit, don't you?
Yeah, well, the one that dies apparently is going to be Dick Grayson.
Oh, shit! Yeah. Oh, snap!
Which I kind of like because it's the reason why Batman goes crazy.
Right.
Because I feel like he's out of all the Robins, that's the one that he'd want to follow in his footsteps. And if he's the one that dies, then I can believe why he starts killing.
That's why he goes over the edge.
Yeah.
It does make sense, yeah.
Nice. So,
but I was going to flip that and say, like, out of a TV show that I would want, it'd be a Batman one.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, you take, like, say, Arrow, which was it was pretty much Batman with a hood. But, because we haven't had a decent Batman show. Well, we haven't had a Batman show since.
Mind you, Green Arrow would be a good movie, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah. Especially like to bring Stephen Oman. Yeah, like Ross could say, like if you think about it, the last time Batman was on TV in his own show was the 66 show. Like, you've had Gotham, didn't have Batman in it properly.
Yeah. Well, live action wise, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And the Superman and Lois show's doing so well at the moment.
Yeah.
Why would you not?
And Batwoman's doing awful, so switch them out.
Exactly.
or Batman Beyond the movie.
I mean,
if you can get
Michael Keaton. I'm kind of thinking, like, we've said this
without Ross's approval on that one.
No, we've had this conversation a lot. Like, if you could get, I know he's meant to be coming back for the new Flash movie as a Batman. If you just make him like Old Man Bruce in the chair with a Terry McGinnis,
and get the guy that plays Dick Grayson in Titans to be Terry McGinnis.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be such a good show. It'd be so easy to do as well. It'd be so great. So many stories you could follow. I get excited when I start thinking about it.
So many seasons out of it, really.
Oh, mate, there's so many bad guys. The best thing about Batman, you've got so many rogues that you could just throw them all in. So like Gotham worked quite well because they did so many origin
That's why Arrow
stories.
worked so well because it used so many Batman villains.
You hear that, Gotham lovers?
Very true.
So yeah, again, without spoiling your top fives, but did any of these shows that you watched make you, the comic book geeks you are now?
Oh, hell
like,
yeah.
did it
All
make you read the books
all
or
of
the stories that they maybe brought into these shows?
Yeah.
You read up on them and see what the difference
for
was or something?
For one show that might be on
100%.
some of our lists. Yeah.
All right, so we won't spoil it too much, yeah.
But yeah, no. The couple of TV shows I'm going to mention in the top 5 are the reason I'm a comic book geek. Massively.
Okay.
I watched the shows before I got into comic books.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't get to comic books. I was about 13, 14. But I was watching the shows from when I was about 6, 7.
Yeah, exactly. When you're 4 or 5, you can watch a cartoon or a TV show, but the attention span of reading a comic is a little bit. You're like, oh yeah, these look cool, but you don't really pay attention to the storyline.
Yeah, and all the old school computer games as well that came out back then. Got me into it. The old Spider-Man game.
That's a podcast.
On the Mega Drive?
Yeah, the old Mega Drive games, mate. Yeah.
I've still got it.
Yeah. The old Avengers
Still
game.
got the Batman 89 one as well.
Yeah, and Batman Returns one. Oh, mate, great
cool.
games.
I think I still got the Batman Returns on the SNES. It's probably one of the best Batmans I've ever played.
Yeah.
It's from the best film, that's why.
I'm not. No. It's
a running joke, don't worry.
Do you want me to press the eject button on here, mate?
Put the shotgun down, Russ, God damn it!
Because you can't see, but I'm sticking between these two. Yeah,
Rob's the guy holding these two back to you. Put that gun away.
Yeah. That's all I got.
Under the table.
And of course, we're going to
go with glasses, would you?
Michael Keaton glasses.
Yeah, that's right.
So, of course, we're going to now have to mention the word cancellation. Was there ever a TV series, if it doesn't stop your
that's my top 5 as well, yeah.
That you didn't want or would like to come back at all?
Hell yes.
There's 2, both in my top 5.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of something else.
These questions have been quite easy, to be honest, because we're all going to explain in our top 5s.
I would say Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
I thought that was really good. And it seemed to be like the way they brought in the Phantom Stranger near the end.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, what's going on
left
here?
it well open. And with, who was the guy? Well, they turned into it. The guy from Nonic Man? What's his name?
Floronic Man.
From Floronic Man, yeah. Brought him in at the end.
Yeah,
Spoilers if you haven't watched it.
Transformed right at the end.
We'll do a spoiler one in a second anyway, so don't worry.
But the fact that they brought him in at the end, it sort of set up a season 2 so well. And he's just like, oh yeah, they've cancelled it. And it got cancelled before it got released, didn't it?
Yeah, it was after the first episode.
Yeah, first episode we watched. And it was like, oh yeah, season 2's cancelled. What? Why?
Yeah.
It's such a good
But you
show.
still carried on, though.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, it was a great show.
You got Blue Devil introduced in that as well, didn't you? They're starting to set up a lot of the... Because I think Liam and I
because you couldn't leave the town.
on our podcast about how we want to see more of the weirder side of DC and Marvel Comics brought out now that you say people are starting to see more of these shows.
Yeah.
So like having some of the Phantom Stranger, the Blue Devil, some of the more weirder aspects of the magical side of the universe.
Satana would be an awesome.
Yeah, I was going to say, going back to your other question, Satana would be good. Like Dr. Fate would be a great show. I know, like some of them are in.
Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah.
I was going to say Dr. Fate's coming in at some point, isn't it?
And perfect casting in Pierce Brosnan, no?
Yeah, for Black Adam. Yeah, he's in the Black Adam movie. Yeah.
Ah, that's what it is.
It wasn't quite a cancellation, but I would have liked to have seen a proper season 5 for Gotham and do the whole No Man's Land story.
Yeah,
arc.
It was rushed. Yeah.
I love No Man's Land as a story arc,
Yeah.
and that was so rushed.
It should have been over 2 seasons.
Yeah,
where you have the first season where Batman's not even there, and then the second one is when he arrives and like tries to tell Huntress that you're doing a bad job and all that sort of stuff. Try to take over the territories back.
Yeah, that was a show that grew. I mean, it might be someone sort of vibe, but that show grew on me a lot.
It did. The villains were great.
Oh yeah, that's my favourite favourite Mad Hatter ever.
If I get to talk about Barbara, I'll get in trouble again, won't I? So
Yeah. That's a niche reference for anyone that watches our show.
Pace yourselves.
Yeah, but yeah, the Mad Hatter in that show is like so good. It's one of my favourite villains ever.
Because I don't like him in the comics at all, but I loved him in that show. He was so good.
Nice. Well, I'm out of questions because we're all going to answer them in our top 5. So, does anyone have any want to throw in at all?
Yeah, another one. It's you said like shows that have been announced that we'd like. But there is one show that's been announced that's not out yet, which is that Green Lantern show.
Oh yeah.
Which is coming out. Which was we were really excited about because we thought John Diggle was going to be John Stewart, and it was make perfect sense. But apparently they've like cast. It's going to be Guy Gardner, Alan Scott, and
Jessica Cruz.
Jessica Cruz as well. Which seems really like if you think of the big 3, it's usually Hal Jordan, for me anyway, Carl Rayner and John Stewart. So they've picked the others for some reason. I don't know if they're just sort of going to start off with that and then maybe bring those ones in or something. I'm not too sure, but
it might be that the main 3 are like the legends, and they're the ones that they're trying to live up to.
Maybe, but I'm excited because it's on HBO Max, right? Which has done Superman and Lois.
So they'll have a budget then,
and it's going to have to be, and I'm hoping it's based in space and not on Earth. And because some of the best Green Lantern comic books are based in space, going through the sectors, fighting different planets.
The movie it's amazing until he comes back to Earth.
Yeah. The first 40 minutes of that film is actually pretty good, and then he's like, oh no, it's crap.
I also think Mark Strong was perfectly cast as Sinestro.
Yes.
But I hated the end where he just goes, "Hey, Hal just proved to me that the willpower can work overcoming these fears, but I'm just going to put the yellow ring on anyway."
It needs to be that whole building up that friendship. They totally missed it on that film. It's like building up the friendship. The whole point of those two
is be a trilogy, and the third one at the end is
the whole point of it is those two are like really good friends. Even though he hated him at the beginning because he took Abin Sur's place, they actually become really good mates, and that's the whole dynamic of their rivalry for the whole thing. Like I don't remember if we spoke about it. Might have been I spoke about it in our first one we did about comic books, but there's a storyline where it's the last time Jeff Johns writes the Green Lantern comic, and there's a bit at the end with him and Sinestro, and the lines in it just make me cry, man. It's just it's so heartbreaking, and I was just like, but that's because of that story between them. It's so good. That's what they just totally missed it in that movie.
But maybe they can interpret it into the
hopefully,
into the series.
I'm excited to see.
They cast Sinestro, or no Sinestro's going to be in it?
I don't even know who the bad guys are. I mean, they've only cast the 3 Lanterns, right?
Well, there was a Green Lantern core movie that was going to be coming out, but I haven't heard anything about that for years.
So yeah, has anyone else got anything to throw in? If not, we'll go straight to top 5.
Yeah,
I think it's going to take a while. I think it's going to take a while.
Let's do it then.
It's time for a top 5.
And we're just going to do a quick spoiler warning because I'm sure we're going to go to heavy spoiler territory here. So just this one.
Spoiler warning.
So we all know the rules. We're going to do ours 1 for 1, and whoever clashes, obviously, even if it's your number 1, 2, 3, whatever, jump in on it. And who would like to go first?
I'll go first if you want.
All right, let's do it first.
Okay, so my number 5.
Number 5.
The sound effects now.
Right, sorry, now go for it.
Batman Beyond / Batman of the Future.
God damn it!
Nice choice.
And why is it, sir?
Because it's Batman.
Yeah, well, one is Batman. But I like it. Took me, I think, a couple of years after I saw it. Why I liked it so much was, I mean, you've got the obviously the original animated series, which is just Batman, but it's something. It's very similar to like Spider-Man's my all-time favorite superhero, and it's very similar to that, where he's a young kid learning what it is to be a superhero, and trying to just live a normal life while trying to be a superhero. But I like the extra dynamic that the original Batman is there mentoring him and then is in his ear. And then you got the future tech, and then you got all these amazing villains. Some of them come back that are from the old Rogues Gallery, but then they had his own heroes that even some of them resemble Spider-Man villains. I mean, you've got the guy that's like Kraven. You've got Ink, which is kind of like a symbiote. You got Shriek, who's like Shocker, and,
Blatant copycat here.
and I just feel like I just related to them both so much, and I love the way everything looked. I love his suit. Like, I love Batman with a cape, but there's something about him where he just had the full face mask, the long ears, which normally I don't like the long ears on Batman. No cape.
I like the pop-out wings he has.
Yeah, the pop-out wings, and then it's all the tech suit underneath. And then you've got the 3-part original pilot, and the way that they did that, where his father died. Well, you say his father. And then...
Spoilers.
We've done the spoiler ones. It's all
And,
good. You're all good.
Redconning at the end.
What happens? And then you got like the Joker gang, which is like a great way that they all just love the Joker, even though he's not around. Which then later he then comes back in the movie, and then you've got him just outside Bruce's manor, like trying to defend himself.
Oh, that's great.
And then Bruce comes out, beats the crap out of him with his cane.
I love that. I'm quoting that when he goes, "Do you know who we are, man? We're the Jokers." And he just like looks at him and just like smiles. He's like, "Of course you are." I was like,
And then when the way he finds the Batcave, like when you're a kid, like and stuff, you're like, I think that's why I liked Robin so much as well. You're like, oh, I can't be Batman, but I could join him and like be in the Batcave, and it's kind of like a similar thing. But you are, he is Batman. He's not the sidekick. And then you get to episode 7. Where Shriek comes in, and I think this is what put the nail in the coffin. Was why I loved it so much is when he basically puts a little chip in the bandage of Bruce, pretends to think he's mad. He's going crazy. He gets locked up and everything. And he's like, "It's not me. I'm not going crazy." And at the end, he finally gets out, and like Terry asks him, like, "How did you know?" And he goes, "Well, one, I'm not psychotic." And then he's like, "Yeah, well, all right."
Full of himself.
He goes like, "Well, I need a better answer than that." And he's like, "Well," he kept calling me Bruce, and he's like, "Well, what'd you call yourself?" And he's like, "Oh, well, that's my name now." And I just love that line so much.
It's just a
like,
little.
Bruce
It's just a
thinks
little.
he's
Like,
Batman.
it's just a little. There's a bit where he goes like, "That's not what I call him." So he goes, "Well, what do you call?" So he turns and like smiles at him. And he's like, "You know exactly what I call
He's
him."
like, "Oh,
It's that one. I love the other episode in that one as well, where you have Talia al Ghul comes back. And, makes Bruce younger.
But it isn't her.
And it isn't her. It's actually Raish, and he's trying to make Bruce younger so he can then take his body.
Yeah.
Great episode.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Like you say, I got hooked on that when it came out because I was like, "Oh, Batman!" When it was called Batman of the Future, wasn't it? When it first arrived.
Yeah, I think over here we called it Batman of the Future, but in
Batman
America
Beyond,
it's Batman Beyond.
Yeah, and beyond. But it's just like, oh, this is interesting. He's an old man Bruce mentoring a younger character.
Yeah.
Some of the aspects, like I don't know why the villain he fights in the first series, Blight, who's Derek Powell.
Yes.
Yeah, such a great concept for a character.
He's almost like a Lex Luthor kind of.
Yeah, but he's also infected with this radiation,
Yeah.
and the more angry he gets, the more his skin peels off.
Yeah.
And it's like trying to figure out who he is.
Yeah, I quite like the opening to the show as well, where Bruce.
I was just about to say that. Yeah.
Bruce is in the costume. And he in the new costume, and he
he's
has
old
a heart
and
attack, and he pulls a gun, and he like to save himself. He picks up a gun and points at a henchman, kind of, and he just like
Starts shaking and drops the gun.
freaks out, and he just sort of then turns back.
Never
and goes,
again,
never
he
again,
said,
because
yeah.
he broke his rule of like nearly killing someone with a gun.
Yeah.
She's like so powerful. Like as a kid, I didn't even get that. And you start reading the comics and like being like how he hates guns, he doesn't kill people, and like him having to do that. I was like, Jesus,
He's
that
like
is
seeing himself as Joe Chill.
yeah, it's so deep for a cartoon. It was crazy.
Yeah.
I think that's, Lee,
Makes
also
perfect
wants-
sense for him to stop because you never write in the comics. You're like, oh, he's never going to stop. There's never going to be any reason. The mission. There's always a mission.
That's why he hated putting Terry, letting Terry have the suit. The Surge's like, I don't want to. I'm the only one that can do it, and it's not until Terry proved himself that he was letting him carry the suit on, which I think.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I like about these superhero shows as well, which is a lot of them are in my top 5, is when the characters come into their own or develop through the course of the show, and we get to Return of the Joker, which is the animated film that finishes that whole saga off.
That was in my top 5 movies.
Yeah.
Movies.
Yeah.
So good.
I love that.
Still haunts me, that film.
The whole film is great, but then you get to the end when
Tim Drake.
he realizes that it's Tim Drake, but Terry realizes that while Bruce never laughed at the Joker's things, the one thing Joker hates more is to be laughed at.
Yes.
So he just spends the entire time
In the
putting it
shadows,
down.
like laughing, echoing
and
in the warehouse.
he's fully come into being Batman at the end of that. And I'm like, oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
So does the movie end the series then?
Kind of, but this is the thing I like about that. They did a comic continuation.
Oh, okay.
Well, they also in the probably
Justice League.
Justice League Unlimited.
Yes.
They went into
There's
the
a
future,
future
and they went
episode.
into, and then you find out that he was actually they used the DNA, and Terry is
I was
his
going to
son.
say about that because there's
Cadmus.
one of the stories in the comics, and this is kind of spoiler, but it's an awesome comic. The continuation of this is that one of the Cadmus, they realised they could never clone Bruce properly, so one of Amanda Waller's backups was to clone Dick, and one of those clones broke loose, went mental, and that's a future version of Hush. in the storyline.
Oh,
So
okay.
There's a Hush, bandaged Hush, tracking down and killing all Batman's old rogues.
He's a clone of Dick Grayson.
Like they're all ill, infirmed, and like being killed. And it turns out that Hush is Dick Grayson. Or clone of Dick Grayson. In the same way that Tim Drake got messed up by the Joker. It's showing you more of how Batman's damage control keeps going out in the future.
Keeps coming back to him. Yeah.
That comic series is great. It's a continuation of the show.
And I also think that it's probably the second best Batmobile as well. I love the
the flying one.
Yeah.
After the 89 one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just double checking.
I love it that it's the Batmobile, but it's also the Batwing.
He also flies.
It's so good.
I just love all the little techie, like the invisible, like tech and stuff. He has and little batarangs to pop out.
And the little like hearing thing with his fingers where he puts on glass and can hear through stuff. I love it.
Is that the Batmobile you're selling?
You know, you got first dibs on it, Amber.
I know, but I've got to try every episode. I have to try. One of these days, you're going to go, yep.
When my eldest needs to go to university, I need to sell it. I'll come back.
How close are you to acquiring power of attorney?
Yeah. You'll be the guy that goes, lady, he's putting my kids through college. Nice, good choice, sir. Good choice. Rob, number 5, sir.
That was also my number 5.
Oh, there we go. So he threw it in anyway.
I shall replace it with The Batman, the show from about
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yes. Which, in a similar vein, did that come out around about the same time that Batman Begins?
Yeah.
Had a resurgence of popularity. And that was sort of like a younger Bruce Wayne getting into
like year one
kind of thing. So building up all his allies in the police force, getting his tech sorted out. And each episode he was, I need to... A bit like Iron Man. This thing's happened, so I need to do this. There was an episode I remember where he built the Batcar, which was just like a really fast, small, compact thing. And one of the villains, I can't remember why, they just had a really fast car that he couldn't.
And he trashed his car, so then he got a new one.
It was like nanotech, wasn't it? And it could transform and do stuff. If I remember correctly. Yeah,
that's a great show. It was weird though because it took 2 or 3 seasons for me to get into it, and then like Robin shows up in season 3 or 4,
and then
the Justice League.
How many seasons did it have?
5, because I think
the Justice League show up in the last season.
So Batgirl shows up first, and then Robin as Tim Drake, and then they have a season of that, and then you start to see more of the other heroes. Superman shows up for a bit, and they start to form the Justice League.
Like Green Arrow,
Green Lantern, turn up.
Flash. Yeah, because I remember Robin goes like
loves Hal.
Yeah, loves Hal. Jordan goes because he's in the Batcave with him. He goes, "Oh, sorry, I've got to go because I've got to go back to my normal job, like test party." He goes, "Even your secret identity's cool." Bruce is sitting there going, "You idiot."
I really like the way they introduced Barbara first in that because it was different, but there was also like Batman didn't approve of it at all, and she just did it on her own wing, and she kept turning up and kind of helping, but she didn't have the tools to help. And then there was that one episode where he just leaves like a big toolbox that he's designed for her on the roof, and she's like, "I'm in the loop."
So when Robin comes into it as well, and they're in the Batcave going, and she's like, "Well, you've had training? What's going on?" Like, I've done nothing.
Because they're in the Batmobile, aren't they? And he's like, "Wait, you've been in the Batmobile?" And then they're driving back to the cave.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Where the hell are we?" And then Robin's like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, they arrive in, and she's like, "This is the Batcave."
Totally.
It's when one of the later episodes when the Flash is helping out on a case with Mirror Master.
Yes.
And like you just hear a whooshing coming from the Batcave entrance. It's like crap, and then Flash turns up and goes, "Oh, so this is where you're hiding." I ran away for Gotham. Took me 5 minutes to find it.
It's awesome. It's a great moment. It's weird because I got used to it, but some of the character designs are really weird.
Yeah, the Joker is a bit off in that one. But,
and the Riddler as well. I love the episodes with the Riddler because they take his like puzzle thing to the next level, which is really cool. But the way he looked was just really.
It's the same with Bruce originally because he had a very round, pointy chin,
they
and then they squared it off in season 2, which was much better.
Yeah, because they did that movie when it was him versus Dracula as well, wasn't there?
Yes.
It was a movie.
Yeah.
It's quite cool.
So they ended up with the film as well?
I can't remember.
No, that was like
it's halfway through, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like season 2.
I think the series ends up with them officially forming the Justice League and
because
the
last
joining, wasn't it?
Yeah, because it's great because they beam Bruce up onto the space station, the watchtower that building.
Right.
Like, hey, look, you've helped us out, and we're forming a group. And it's like, do you want to? I don't know what to call it yet. Do you want to join? And then Bruce just presses a button, and all the screens appear with the bat symbol on it. Do you really think you could build this in orbit without me finding out?
Badass. Great, it's so good. Yeah. So I remember earlier, I love that one as well. Because it's the typical thing about these aliens come, and they take all the superpowered Justice League members. They don't take Green Arrow or Batman. So like, they're just normal humans. I don't care. And then they're the two that go and save the day. It's like,
it's good.
They're awesome.
Nice, good pick, sir. Yeah.
Nice.
Number 5.
Okay. Number 5.
Let me guess, it's a Batman.
No. I'm going. I've gone. So my top 5's got some nostalgia in it. Okay. Might not be my favourite shows, but it's the ones that like got me into it. So my number 5 pick is. How do you say it? So like Clark Kent and Lois Adventures of Superman with Dean Cain and Terry Hatcher.
Oh, okay.
That's what I go for. Because that was like one of the shows as a kid.
So much suspense on that. I was waiting for it to be
I was trying to remember. Is it?
I could have put a drum roll in if you wanted.
I can't remember if it was Clark and Lois or Lois Lane and Clark.
Eventually, Lois and Clark.
Yeah, Adventures of Superman. So that show is one of those shows where it was like, as a kid you'd like watch all the was it like Blue Peter's Neighbours, then that would come on, then it was Star Trek. I used to watch that with my mum all the time. It was such a good show for back in the day, man. Like
it was like a Saturday afternoon thing, wasn't it?
I thought it was in the evenings. I thought
it was in the evenings.
It was on Channel 2, like 6
I watched
o'clock.
it with my family as well.
Yeah,
it was in homework, like you say, and then eventually Sleeping in Lois, then Star Trek.
And I like the pilot.
The Next Generation.
And then went to Deep Space Nine.
Yep.
That's a whole other podcast. It's just such a good show for back. I mean, I watched it recently. Someone recently. It hasn't aged the best, but the thing I loved about that show the most, it was about Clark more than Superman. It was like him using his powers as Clark Kent, doing stuff really sneakily. I used to love the bits where they used to be going investigating.
Before Lois knew.
Yeah, before Lois knew, and he used to go investigating around and he'd be like, oh, I wonder where this thing is. He'd be like, pulling his glass down, looking in stuff, and like, or breaking a lock. And let's get in here, and all this kind of stuff. And it was just so I never thought about, because before that, all there was the Christopher Reeve movies.
Yeah,
and he never really catching the bullet. I'm going to kick myself.
Well, there was Superboy. That was a TV series.
I never saw that.
Did you never watch it?
Never watched it. I've seen like clips of it. But
my number one.
That was. Damn it!
Spoilers! Goddammit!
That was on the LWT as it was at the time.
Yeah.
Oh my word.
Yeah, but no.
I feel old.
Back in the day. Take a sip.
Because he never. I don't. Bar catching the bullet in the first movie, I don't think he ever really used his powers as Clark Kent that much.
I did in Superman 2. He's saving her in the river, which he dives into.
He tries to blow this. Yeah. But I just say that show did a lot more, and also the story they went with. Like I'm trying to think of all.
That made sense in that show because he used to lower his glasses.
Rather than just heaving and go through the glasses and melting it. Yeah. But yeah, I thought he was a really good Superman. Terry Hatcher was great as Lois Lane. Yeah. Like, all the cast were really
Lex was pretty good.
Lex was really cool. Lex was really, really cool. And I remember it went through loads of seasons of different stuff, but there was one season where they even brought Zod and all the Kryptonians back into it. And he wore like the black suit with the like blue symbol, and he was like going to get married and like become ruler of Krypton and all this kind of stuff.
But the best moment was definitely episode 1, where he had the "I Need a Hero" theme tune.
Oh, when he says with his costume, Supergirl totally ripped off in that first episode. Yeah, no, it was just it's one of those nostalgia things where it's maybe not age well, but it just got me into Superman that much more.
I can see that
as a kid. And
I kind of enjoyed Jonathan being alive as well.
Yeah, his parents would talk to him a lot. And he'd say just stupid things like when he bought. I remember the one where he bought this flat. And it was an absolute shithole. And then like the caretaker was like, "Oh, good luck." And he just goes and gets his brush, and then so he does the speed up camera thing, and he just walks out in his suit, and the guy like turns around and looks in. He's like, "All decorated. What the fuck's going on?" Or he just shaves like with his vision in the mornings and all that kind of stuff. All the like normal stuff you would do as Superman with those powers.
That show wasn't afraid to embrace the weirder side of Superman. Some of the 60s stuff that used to come into it. Though.
Yes, yeah. Well, they had one. I think Mrs. Piglet might have been in it, and they had the one with. Oh God! Who the hell is a time traveller?
Yeah, Orson Welles.
Orson Welles. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, he was in it as well. It's just
he's like, and Lois Lane, the world's dumbest reporter. You're laughed at in history. Let me do an impression. So Clark Kent, Superman.
It's great. But I mean, no anyone's got comments on it. But yeah, I love
that show was like you said. Superman had been off the rails radar for a while, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. And like I said, Dean Cain carried Superman through that era. Yeah. I remember a lot of fans actually back in the day that really enjoyed it said that he sort of sparked out more as Clark than he did Superman. Yeah. But I mean that was one where I must have watched the reruns because I remember it being on a Saturday afternoon for some reason. But it's a good choice. A lot of people are like, "Oh yeah, I remember. Oh, you're as old as me."
I think it's the last time he's ever had the S on the cape.
On the back of his cape.
Is it really?
Yeah, I don't think he's had it since.
In live action?
Yeah.
Did he not have it in Smallville? No, maybe not.
You can't tell us.
Yeah, very true. Yeah,
in Smallville, you had the kid that had the tumour that could read minds. And he saw his future, and it was just a cape flapping in the wind, and had yes on it.
Yeah, but they used the Batman, Superman Returns. Well. Yeah, Superman Returns. Yeah.
And he did it,
Yes, that's mine.
Yeah, good choice.
I have to go and watch it again now. I really want to watch it again.
All right, so very quickly, my number 5 is where we brought up the question about cancellation. And I don't know if it's going to be in yours, but mine's Krypton.
That's my next one.
Is it really? So we'll jump in on it. So Krypton's one of those ones where I knew it through you guys because you guys were doing your reactions.
That's the first show. That's the reason. That's the reason the show exists.
The thing was that I watched it, but I didn't watch it because I didn't want any of it spoiled. But I waited until it had all come out and then sat through it all because I was a bit skeptical because Sci-Fi had done it, not CW or something.
Yes. Yeah.
And at the time, Sci-Fi, the Sci-Fi channel, was known for making really, shit or rubbish straight to DVD movies.
Was that
or
around the time it renamed itself to Sci-Fi SY.
That's right. Yeah,
and
that's
what.
what.
Like, oh no.
Yeah,
See how do I say
Wi-Fi? It's like when you saw Wi-Fi for the first Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi. So but the wait was well worth it in the end. It was totally what I wanted it to be.
It was more, man.
Yeah,
for me,
and then some, wasn't it? Especially with the bad guys, and then Brainiac. Just that. That's the reason why. Main reason why was it Brainiac?
I mean,
just
good God, fucking God!
The graphics. I mean, the fact the storyline is meant to be like, so it's like Kal-El's grandfather, right? So it's Jor-El's dad.
Yeah, the premise of it, you think, well, why would I be interested in that?
And you get to see Krypton and stuff, and then suddenly Brainiac's in it. Oh, yeah, that's quite interesting. But the fact that they then brought fucking Doomsday was in it. Yeah, Zod was in it.
From out of nowhere.
I was like, what the hell's going on? Like, they're bringing all these
And then they brought Lobo.
Yeah, Lobo.
Yeah.
Oh, Lobo was
And
great.
then there was
as
the
well.
episode where you thought Lighter had gone evil, and then it turned out to Black Orchid was on her.
Yes,
And
the Black
like,
Orchid. Yeah, so much. There was so much. Yeah, it's
good.
just, I say that show. So when we were talking a few years ago before that show came out, and we were talking about starting up a channel. We're like, but this like Flash has been out for a few seasons. We missed that. We missed Arrow, and then we're like, this Krypton show is coming out. So why don't we just give it a go and see where it goes? And that's the first show we actually reacted to, and that's the reason the channel actually exists.
Yeah, because I remember one of those episodes where they're sort of training and whatnot, and then she snaps his neck, and your guy's reaction to that is just like, you like never saw it come. It's like, holy shit! I'll never forget that one on your videos on your channel. Was like
That and the cape swish.
yes,
That guy in that chair with that game
Vex,
switch,
yeah.
man. It was great. It was, but it was just quite because the actual like planet Krypton. We saw it in the original Superman movies. There's like big crystals and stuff, and then there was in Man of Steel they totally changed it. In the comics, there's even more different. So I was like really curious about to see what they did, and they brought this whole thing in of like the different houses, and then there was the nameless. Was it nameless? Or like rankless,
Yes.
rankless, who will like live below the cities.
Yeah.
And all the cities were actually just domes in different parts of the planet, and all the rest of it was just wasteland. It's such a cool concept. And
it was just nice to see different parts of Krypton.
It
Like,
really was.
like the religion they brought up on and stuff like that was just nice to see expanded because when it comes into Superman, it's literally just the death of Krypton, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it was nice to actually expand on it more and see more of it, wasn't
And
it?
the origin that they showed of Doomsday as well.
Yes,
them
exactly.
Just keep testing it.
Yeah.
And
It's so fucking
And
good.
you find out it was it the House of L that was the pushy one? It
it
wasn't the Zod.
Yeah, it's always Zod. It was the Zod and L thing, like always, all the time, like
Yeah.
together, even though they're enemies and stuff.
was, yeah.
And even the what's the other
Even
one?
Seg himself, the main character, was awesome.
Yeah,
The way
I
they-
quite enjoyed the twist of like obviously who's the guy who comes back in time? Adam Strange comes back in time with the cape. He's like your grandson is
It's from
Superman.
Planet Detroit,
Yeah. I thought he was great as well. Like just being like, and then there was this point in the series where Seg's like, "Well, I don't care. This is my planet. I want to look. I want to say you've got to let Brainiac destroy Krypton so your grandson can be this Superman."
Yeah.
And he's just like, "I don't care. I want my planet to live." And he's like, "No, you can't do that." He goes, "Well, tough." And it was like a whole twist, and I was like, "Kind of makes sense." To be fair, like,
Yeah.
it was such a cool.
I can save my whole race.
Yeah, it's such a cool concept on it. It was
I
so
got
good.
twist as well. Again, so spoilers, but we've done the spoiler warning.
Yeah.
When
he
gets to when Cal realizes, no, I'm going to have to sacrifice myself, and the cape's almost gone.
Yes.
The one he brought up.
Yeah.
And you sacrifice himself, it restores itself, and you're like, oh, noble sacrifice, and the House of Zod appears.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah, it was like, oh shit!
fuck?
Yeah, no,
It's
yeah.
just so good, man.
And, and as you say, the cancellation part, it got cut off. They ended it with like, was it Nessa? Is her name Nessa?
Yeah, she was a clone.
Nessa, yeah. But she landed on a planet with like parademons and
Oh,
the
the
Omega
Omega
symbol.
symbol, yeah.
It's like, oh shit! And then like
Thanagarians were.
Thanagarians, yeah.
When they're going to need Brainiac's help or something to...
Yeah.
Or he kidnapped her son or something. Oh, I can't remember now.
Yes,
And they left Zod with a black orchid, pretending that he was ruling the
Yes.
Yeah,
galaxy.
yeah.
wasn't
His
it?
parents, yeah.
Didn't they rename?
And Doomsday was still on ice. They left him out in the wasteland.
Yeah, there was that whole scene where Doomsday just got unleashed on that planet and killed all those people. It's so brutal, and it's like this is what you want to see.
Yeah.
Like if they could do this on a TV show, imagine doing it.
I still have no
properly
idea
in a
why
movie.
he got cancer.
No, neither do I. Because I even recommend it to people that not interested in superhero stuff, and they were just hooked on it full stop.
It's like you said as well, it's kind of far enough removed from what you know of Superman that even if you aren't a comic book fan, you can get all of those characters and
it's like a
understand
good
what's going
sci-fi
on.
show.
Absolutely, yeah. And it was just when that I left on that because you guys had obviously seen it, but I hadn't watched that episode because they're gonna. I know it's cancelled. So they'll finish it. And it got to like 2 minutes. It's not finishing yet. There's still so much to do. What's going to happen? And when it left on that open, I was like, for fuck's sake. So it goes back to that question that if I wanted something to come back that was cancelled, it would be Krypton.
Yeah, I would have. That's what I would have said as well. I didn't want to mention it,
yes,
100%. That they should bring that show. So
obviously Swamp Thing as well. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, good choice.
But no, I agree. Krypton is just awesome.
Yeah. So we'll go to your number 4. So
Number 4.
sorry, I stole your 4, by the way.
That's all right.
Do you want me to start?
Guarantee no one's going to clash.
Do you want me to start? Or do you want to go in a different direction?
I'll go back this way if you want. Do you mind?
Yeah, go that way.
All right, so my number 4 is the most recent TV series on there, and it's Amazon Prime's Invincible.
Not seen that yet.
We haven't seen it.
Right, so I won't go into it too much, but this
A
is
lot of people want us to watch
Yes.
it.
But I'm going to be what you guys are to Eternals as well. I knew nothing about Invincible. I had no idea what it was. The only, where I recognised it from. Do you remember the movie Paul with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost?
Yeah.
He wears an Invincible T-shirt in that whole movie, and that's where I was like, okay, I recognise it from that, but I don't know anything. Don't know the characters, the origins, nothing. So the first episode had come on, and Amazon decided to release these weekly. And literally the beginning bit, no spoiler, but you have all these other characters that rip off of Aquaman, Flash, and whatnot. And I was just like, no, I'm not going to watch this now. Yeah. So turned it off. And then obviously they were coming out weekly. And then everyone who I was working with was talking about it, saying it's really good, really good. So I went back to it, watched the first episode, and I'm watching it there with my daughter. She's like, "Oh, I'm enjoying this, Daddy." Yeah. Then all of a sudden that ending happens. Close your eyes, honey. Close.
It's quite gory, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just like I kind of knew it was going to have some sort of adult, content in it, but not like this. But it's so gripping, and it's like Krypton, where there's more than one story into it. It's got me into being invested in these characters. I might grab a few graphic novels just to see how it goes. But
how many episodes is it?
8 episodes. 8 episodes.
Do you know if it covers much? Because my introduction, my only knowledge of the show has been, I think when The Walking Dead first came out as a comic, I was like, oh, this is really good. So I'll see what else before the TV show came out and ruined it. But then I also picked up Robert Kirkman's, because he wrote the first series of Invincible. And so I know about that ending you're talking about, because I read through the first issue.
Okay.
What the fuck? So yeah, I know that's kind of spoiled by that. But it's like, do they go all the way up to that? I'm assuming.
Yeah, they do, it does. It's good because it does keep you guessing, like, is it because of this, is it because of that? And it does play off really well. And I was just so hooked on it. Like I said, there's 8 episodes, but I did it in 2 days. And with wife and kids, 2 jobs, how the fuck did I even do that? I was just so hooked on it. And it had to go in the top 5. I know it's very off recent, but I was kind of hoping you guys didn't have it in there. So quite lucky. Yeah. But I recommend it, guys. I mean, Rob, you obviously know the first episode, but still give it a go.
But like yourself and everyone else I've heard talking about it says it's great.
Was it 20 minutes an episode, or was it
40, 45 minutes?
That's right. Yeah, so a lot of people.
All-star cast as well. Really good. A lot of stuff.
You got
start again. iPad actors in it as well. So yeah.
So yeah, a lot of people keep commenting saying, "What? Watch this, and we're because we've got loads of other stuff to watch, and none of us are really into it. We're like, okay, but maybe like if it's in your top 5, maybe we should watch it.
I'd like to see you guys do it on your show.
Yeah,
just I mean, Rob knows, but I like to see your guys' reaction to it.
Just do the first episode at least.
Because that's the thing. Because the reviews had come out on YouTube, obviously not spoiled it, but their attitude was watch the first episode, watch the ending, and then you decide from there where you want to go on with it or not. And I guarantee you'll be like, yep, next episode.
The good thing is they're all out, so we can binge them.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly why I did it, mate.
Do it in like 2 days.
Exactly. Your 4's done, so we go straight to Rob, sir.
Oh, God. Yeah, see, it's kind of my 4 done as well, but pick another show to talk about?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, it's not really a top 5 pick, but it's something I thought was interesting to talk about.
Okay.
It's Jupiter's Legacy. It's just come out on Netflix.
Oh, okay. I've heard mixed things about this. So.
Yeah, that's the thing. I remember buying a comic it must be 10 years old now, that comic, because I'm not really a big fan of Mark Millar. I like some of his stuff, but some of his stuff is needlessly violent. And
that's the guy that did Kick-Ass, is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
If you've read the comic of Kick-Ass compared to the film, I think the film is miles better than the comic.
Yeah.
And in the same respect to this TV show, they've taken all of the brutal, needless gore and superhero. This like thing you hate, Ross, is when Superman analogs are just dicks for no reason. Yeah. So you've got in the comic the main you've seen the promotion image with the guy with the long hair. Yeah. So he's the Superman for that show, but then in the comic he's a bit of a knob and just needlessly brutally violent, and his son's a bit of a dick. And then in this show they've taken all of that out and made it a proper family drama. about this legacy, basically this legacy of characters. Because without spoiling it too much, if you guys want to watch it, they start off in the 1930s with these guys who are going through the Great Depression, and they all meet for various reasons, and then they all get these. We've got to go to this place, and we're being signalled to come here for some reason, and then they end up with the powers, and then the show's mainly about them and their kids, and how the kids of these superheroes have been like the Justice League. That everyone loves them, they looked up to them, they're these paragons of virtue.
Okay,
and you've got these kids who've grown up with this legacy. How do we fit into this? Like the daughter of the main character is just like a hopeless drug addict who hates living up to her parents, and then all this kind of stuff. And they've really worked it well and taken some of the unnecessary shit out of the comics and put it into a really. I wasn't expecting anything going into it, and I really enjoyed it. So
do you prefer the show or the book?
The show.
Okay,
yeah, because it's one of those things.
I'm actually give it a go now.
Yeah,
actually.
It's like The Boys as well. They took a lot of the unnecessary bits out of that to put that into the show. So
okay. I'm gonna have to give it. They're all on there, are they? Or?
Yeah, it's 8 or 10 episodes, and it's obviously got a season 2 coming. So,
oh wow, I didn't realise that. Nice,
that's on the watch list.
It's on mine now anyway.
I haven't had time to do it yet.
Just go into it blind and see what you think.
Yeah, of course. I know nothing about it, so I will. Obviously.
I went into it with more of a negative view, and I came out liking it more. If you go into it blind, maybe you won't like it as much as I don't know.
Okay,
just my 4's gone because it's Krypton as well, but that's my recommendation.
Okay,
good. It's a good show.
So on to my number 4, yeah?
Yeah.
Mine is Justice League Unlimited.
Damn you, Ross. That's my number 2.
So you both got to join in on this one.
I mean, what can you say about this show?
It's so good.
Everything about it, every character, every storyline, every joke, every design of the characters, voice actor.
Absolutely classic.
It's like whenever I'm watching a movie or a TV show, I'm wanting them to be like that version from that show. You know, I'm judging them like, right, well, he did it like that in that show because that's the best way to do it. You're doing it differently. I don't like it, kind of thing.
Right.
Because I just think the way they portray every character is just perfect. I haven't got anything bad to say about it. I think every storyline was amazing. Oh man,
Greatest final episode ever.
The ending, like the way the Zack Snyder movies have finished now, and we'll never see Superman go up against Darkseid. I just wish we'd had something like the ending of that.
Oh, that scene, you know.
Yeah, he's like,
I feel like I'm on a world of cardboard.
Cardboard.
Always,
constant care not to break someone or something, and then he just.
Like, this is a chance to cut loose and show you just how powerful I am.
I get goosebumps thinking about it. Yeah. Like when people complain, like, "Oh, in Man of Steel, there's too much destruction." I'm like, no, I want Superman to punch Darkseid through 20 buildings.
Yeah.
Just like he did in the cartoon.
Yeah.
So how many seasons is this?
Is it 2 seasons of Justice League and then 3 of Unlimited?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's
so they connect together.
Yeah, you got the first 2 is just the main 7.
Yeah.
Yes.
6, 7.
Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern, John Stewart, Hawk Girl, and Martian Manhunter.
Yeah.
And then in season 3 they call it Unlimited because they add
bring in everyone.
There's a huge.
Oh right.
Yeah,
Okay.
the end of season
Green
2,
Arrow,
there's a
the
huge,
question, like
event. I can't remember what it is. The aliens invade or something.
Airplane mode.
She doesn't understand you.
So then they end up like, we never want to be in that situation again. It's the Thanagarians invade, don't they?
Yes, that's right.
Then, so they're like, right, we're going to get all the heroes that we've heard of from around the world and build the Watchtower, and then we can respond where we need to, and that's when all the other characters come in. But that's when it really expands into a massively good show.
Season 3, episode 1 is when they bring in Green Arrow.
Yes.
And you're like, whoa, this is a new character. What's going on? And then he's just like taking that thug out in the superstore. And just like using
his boxing glove arrow. Damn straight.
And he's just like witty and it's just so good. And like I quote that show all the time.
Yes.
Especially it's Green Arrow and Canary are after Huntress and
the question.
And they're on a motorbike, and Question and Huntress are in a car in front, and they're chasing them. And then Huntress is like looking behind, they're catching us, he's like, lose him. And he's like, yeah, like airline luggage. Just changes it.
I love the question. There's a scene when he's trying to break into a building to do some investigation, and he walks up to a big set of glass doors in front of a building, bends down, he's humming a song, he bends down, he looks at the lock, he looks like he's about to try and pick it, and he looks at it, and he's doing all kinds of things like brushing, walks off, comes back with a trash can, just throws it through the door, just walks in.
So many, there's arguments. Is that's in Unlimited is the bit with the Flash going crazy on Lex Luthor Brainiac.
Yeah.
Because that's what I love about that show. Every character usually gets a moment to shine.
Yes.
And that was Flash's moment. Big time.
Especially when at the end when he goes so fast he runs around the earth and punches him knocks all his armor off.
Yeah.
And then he just starts fading away, and he's like,
In
I
the
don't feel
Speed
too
Force.
good.
Yeah.
And then he vanishes, and everyone's like, what? But then Martian Manhunter can still sort of sense him. And then they pull him back out, and he's like, I'm never going that fast again.
You have the one with the Justice Lords in that as well. When,
Yes, yeah.
Because it's got Doomsday in it.
Yeah, it's
So-
when he kills...
Just
Lex
lobotomizes
kills
him.
Flash, and then they have the whole future storyline where just a little
They
Superman.
go into the White House and just
Yeah.
he just kills.
Lobotomizes Lex Luthor, doesn't
Lex
he?
Luthor, but then they have the whole thing where they are.
What's that smell of burning? That's Lex in the corner.
Lobotomize his brain.
But what I love about that whole storyline is they eventually they go to the world that our Justice League's on because they want to bring their law and order to it, and you end up with both Batmen out Batmaning each other the entire episode.
Yeah.
Bloody
It's
hell.
just, they're in the Batcave and they're trying to fight each other, and they're just each throwing like knowledge about each other. At
All
each
outsmart
other.
one
Yeah,
another,
trying to
yeah.
outsmart one another.
And it's the line, isn't it? He goes,
Mum would be so. They think Dad would be so proud of this.
yeah. No, before that, when they're in the cave and they're like fighting.
Oh yeah.
Well, he says like just think another boy will never have to see his parents die again. Or something.
Yeah.
But
Because
then
some
our
young
Batman
punk
stops
like
and
gun.
then just drops, and
Yeah.
you're like,
And he kind of agrees with him.
Yeah. And then the two of them go off around the city, and then at which point our Batman is like, "Hey, this is really cool, isn't it? The way you've introduced
Martial law."
yeah, like,
It's like,
fascism
yeah.
and martial law." They're like, Mum and Dad would be so proud of this, wouldn't they? And he's like, "Shut up."
No, it's great. It went well deep with loads of story. Again, another great show that does character development
Yes.
as a cartoon.
Yes.
It's so good, so good.
And a really good version of the Suicide Squad in that as well.
Yes, trying to remember what that is, but yes.
I was like, and I think Waller sends them to the Watchtower, and it's
Oh yeah. Sorry,
Captain
yeah.
Boomerang
Captain
and,
Boomerang, yeah.
Deadshot.
You also got Booster Gold episode in that one as well, which is great.
That's so great because everyone else is off doing something else. Even Ralph Dibny gets congratulated for saving the world. Booster Gold literally saves the world, but no
Yeah.
one sees it.
Yeah.
That was it, yeah. That's why I really enjoyed that show. You obviously had the main seven, and they would totally go off on like the Atom. There's loads of characters they would just go off and do an episode about.
There's a couple of Supergirl episodes that were really good.
Yeah, when she goes to the future.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Sent to the Earth.
Yeah.
It's like
So many.
so strange, but it's good.
And you had the Injustice Society as well, or the Legion of Doom
Yeah,
got formed as well. Flash and Lex swapping minds.
I love that. As well.
Oh yes.
Great.
I don't know who. At least I can finally find out who the Flash is.
Looks at
I
the
have
mirror.
no idea who this
I have
is.
no idea who this is.
So
Great.
It's a giant dinosaur.
Oh man.
Yeah,
So that was your 4.
My number 4.
And
that's
your
my number 2.
2. Right, okay. So now we're going to go to 3.
Number 3.
So we obviously went round this way. So it's going to go back to you, Ross.
Okay.
Don't pick one of mine.
I don't think anyone would have picked this. Mine is X-Men Evolution.
Okay.
Ooh.
That was on my runner-up list.
Wait. You haven't put the other one in.
Yeah.
You have put the other one in.
No, I haven't.
What?
Oh,
Yeah.
what?
I
Okay.
prefer it over the 92 one.
Shit, get the
No, I can mediate on this. I don't agree, but I can see what you're saying.
I don't
Yeah.
agree, but
No, I can see what you're saying because Evolution was fucking awesome.
Yeah, like it came off the back of the first X-Men movie.
Yeah.
And you go back and watch the 92 one, and I agree with Stu for nostalgia, 92 one. Like if you ask me, pitch the X-Men, I go straight to Jim Lee's art from the Fox 92 cartoon. And the storylines are, obviously, they're from the comic, but you go back and watch it now and it's quite dated. The animation is a bit stiff. It's wrong in quite a few scenes. And the way the dialogue is said, it's quite cheesy and it's quite bad, honestly. And then you watch X-Men Evolution where they flip it on the side. The thing I really liked was you got Xavier, Storm, Wolverine, and Beast are all the adults. Everybody else is a teenager.
Right.
And the way that they, rather than go to the Xavier school and that's where they learn, as well as like learn to control their powers, they only learn to control their powers at the mansion. They actually go to, I can't remember what the name of the school is, but they go to a school which is just a normal school and they have to try and blend in and be normal. And then you've also got the Brotherhood are also teenagers and they go to the same school. So they're like the bullies.
Right.
And then the principal is this woman, you don't know who it is, but I think so after the first or the second episode you find out it's Mystique is the principal and she's controlling it because Magneto is telling her to do it. And just the dynamic of them all being kids and the way they bring, because I think it's only like Scott, Jean.
Kurt's in it for a bit, isn't he?
No, I'm trying to think. It's
only
not
that.
very many people are in it to start with, and then Kurt's the first one to arrive, and he the way he looks, and he's like doesn't really blend in at all with humanity, and the way that they kind of bring him around, and he becomes like the jokey character, and it's the one reason why I like Nightcrawler so much is because of that. You've got the beginning of X2, when he
Yeah.
goes to the White House. But then I fell in because like in the 92 one, he's only in like 2 or 3 episodes and he doesn't really do that much. But in this, he's like one of the main characters and he's funny and he's jokey. And then they give him a watch so that he can turn in and look human, so he can blend in and go to the school. And the way that they are kind of naive, and then like they go to school, they do their homework, and then in the evenings they have to go on missions.
Okay.
I just really like it, and the way the animation is, and like I don't know, Jean is like the second main character after Scott, and like in the 92 one, she's a bit of a wet lettuce. Do you know what I mean? She's just, oh yes, Scott, yeah, let's do this, Scott. And she's like, she only really comes into it when she becomes Phoenix and Dark Phoenix in that saga. She's basically a background character.
There's not one episode when she goes, "Ah!"
It's so annoying to watch. But like this one, she's like one of the main characters, and everyone looks up to her because she's like one of the oldest teens out of all of them. And yeah, I just absolutely love it, absolutely. And it was only 4 seasons, and that's one of the ones that I was going to say that got cut early. That I
Oh,
wanted
really?
to go.
So did it not have an ending then, or?
No, not really.
That's annoying.
Yeah, they brought in the Sentinels, and then you kind of. And then Magneto, I think, was going to start building Mutant X,
Okay.
and then it kind of just died.
Wait, is Asteroid or Genosha?
I think it was the Asteroid.
Asteroid M.
Yeah, Asteroid M. Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Cool.
And
Not the Savage Land.
no, but
I still love that subject.
like I've said before, like I'm a very visual person, and like I said, like, the Jim Lee designs is how I prefer the X-Men. That's why all my statues are
Sure.
off those ones, but. They changed the outfits a lot, which is probably the weakest part for me, but I kind of like it because they're all kind of similar and they kind of like blend in together, where like the Jim Lee ones, they all look kind of different. Do you know what I mean? Like they don't look like they're a team.
It's not a unit, like a
uniform.
matching uniform. Yeah.
Exactly. Where this one, they kind of mix it up and everything. And then the other thing that is another weak part is where I prefer Rogue when she's got Miss Marvel's powers, where she can fly, she's strong, where she doesn't have in this one. They use the modern take, because they basically based it off the movie where, you know, she doesn't have, she just got the absorbing powers.
Sure.
But the way that they portrayed her in that was really good, and the way that, like, was it season 3 when they brought in Gambit, and he's just a rogue that Rogue likes, and just the way.
I see what we did then. Clever.
Yeah, I don't know, the way that they changed all the storylines. It just worked for me, and I really did enjoy it. So that's why it's my number 3.
Nice.
Yeah.
Rome. What's your number 3, sir?
Okay, one that might be on someone else's list. Young Justice.
Oh,
Boom.
it's my number 2.
I was gonna put it in, but I thought you guys definitely get this in.
Yeah.
So
Your number 2?
My number 2.
Oh, wow. Okay, so
You stole my number
I was going to say, you took yours, now you take his.
who does number 2 work for?
Go for it, sir. What is Young Justice?
So I think correct me if I'm wrong, it came out around about the same time as the god awful Teen Titans. There was originally a Teen Titans cartoon on WB years and years ago. It was like a proper animated one, and then they changed up the format into this really cheapified Japanese little cutesy version of the characters. It was awful. It was Teen Titans Go, I think it was called.
Oh, Teen Titans Go, yeah.
And then then they announced they were going to do another young teen psychic superhero show called Young Justice. And I was like, nah, I'm not interested. And it wasn't until we started watching it for this show,
Season 3?
season 3, that I went back and watched season 1 and 2.
You've never seen it before that?
Nope.
Really?
Nope.
Oh, mate. That's...
Exactly. So that's why I was like, okay, if you're going to watch this, I'll get myself up to speed and I'll watch season 1 and 2. And oh my god, is that a show that doesn't shy away from presenting?
So is it a more serious version of...
Yeah.
Like, Teen
Have you
Titans
not
Go?
seen it?
I know of it, but I've never watched it. No.
Watch it, mate. Watch
you
it.
need to watch it.
Okay, right.
It's probably the best. It's like
Is it on the P word?
Yes,
That's all right then.
it's probably the it's like it's the Sidekicks version of Justice League cartoon. Like, it's so good. I remember it came out because it was the same actor voiced Batman that he did in Under the Red Hood.
Yeah, Mark Greenwood.
So it must have been just after that, very close to that movie coming out. That
Yeah, it was just after that.
yeah, and that's why I was like so good. And it's just such a. I mean, the art, the animation in it is one of my favourites because they tweak.
It's like the animated movies, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's very much like, and it's just literally the sidekicks of each of them. So you've got Robin, Flash,
Speedy.
Yeah, Speedy,
Red Arrow.
who's not
Red Arrow.
Flash's psychic.
Yeah.
Which is a running joke within the show, which is great.
Yeah.
And Aqualad is the fourth one, isn't it?
Yeah,
Mish
Aqualad,
Martian.
and then Mish Martian joins in, and then
But
you've
it's
also
not
got
straight,
Superboy as well.
Because that's where it starts, isn't it? They the 4 of the 14 psychics like, oh, today's the day in the first episode, and they're basically being taken to the Justice League by all their mentors.
Okay.
And they assume they're getting inducted, but it turns out they're just there for like, hey, you guys are like proper psychics now, so welcome to the club kind of thing. And they're pissed off. They can go and stop a fire or something to prove that they.
Yeah, well, no, Speedy leaves because he gets like Roy leaves because he gets
thinks
pissed
he's
off.
better than
He
everyone.
thinks he's better than everyone else.
Yeah, and then the other three, so Robin, Kid Flash, and
They're like, well, we'll prove we can do
Aqualad.
this.
Yeah,
So
they
go
get
off-
a
go and stop a
Cadmus.
fire. It turns out to be a Cadmus building, and in the basement is Superboy the clone.
Okay.
Who then breaks out and starts causing havoc because he's a mindless clone at that point. So the three of them have to help that, and there's all kinds of stuff going down there, and it evolves from out there. And then basically, rather than it being Teen Psychics doing Teen Psychic stuff, the Justice League kind of agree that, well, they're useful, but we can't really have them running around in public,
Yeah,
so they're
so
going to be our
they-
shadow team.
covert SWAT team kind of thing.
And we'll train them properly. And then, as you say, like Miss Martian joins, and then as the series goes on, they get more and more characters in. But there's a turning point. Is it in season 1 when they do the mind training?
Yeah,
Yes, that's
season
my
one,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, season 1.
They like the episode starts without you knowing what's going on.
Yeah.
And without spoiling too much. And then like aliens invade. Superman's killed outright. Half the Justice League gets wiped out, and Lois Lane blows up in a.
Yeah,
Jesus.
And then it's left to the Teen Psychics to try and muster a defense, and it ends up with Robin taking point, and basically realizing, like Batman, he has to sacrifice his allies sometimes to get to the end goal to wipe out the alien. Turns out the whole thing was a virtual simulation that went a bit wrong.
What?
Yeah, because in Miss Martian's head,
It's in Miss Martian's head, and she got too into it, so the whole thing became real for them. And when they basically have a counselling session with Black Canary afterwards, and Robin's there, sort of going, "I've realised that as much as I'm Batman, I can't be him.
Yeah.
I never want to be him."
Wow.
And that starts his path to becoming Nightwing. And then with all of these characters, each season the show moves.
I'm getting
forward.
goosebumps.
I know, me too, yeah.
With each season, the show moves forward several years.
Also, before that, also season 1,
Yeah.
it has like odd episodes of different stuff. But it has an underlying arc.
Yes.
There's a whole from that first episode.
Oh yeah,
with Roy. You haven't seen it, so I don't want to spoil too much. But there's a whole underlying arc that goes all the way through the season in the background, till the end, and then it comes to a climax at the end.
Okay.
And then it sort of finishes, and it sort of finishes a bit weird. Mm-hmm. And then season 2 started, and it was like 5 years later. So Robin's now Nightwing, Tim Drake's Robin,
and there's
Batgirl's in it.
Batgirl's
more
in
of
it.
the
There's all
younger
these
characters from the DC Comics,
Beast
starting to
Boys in
filter
it.
and getting their own story arcs.
Laguna Boy.
Yeah,
yeah.
but because that's another one.
Dude's beard.
It got 2 seasons, and then it was cancelled.
Yeah. That was the other show
shit.
that I was going to
Yeah.
say that
Yeah.
got cancelled.
Okay.
But then it got brought back for a revival.
After how many years was there a gap for?
5.
More than that.
No. It was 2010 and 2011, and then it was the day that Trump got elected.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody was like, "No, Trump's been elected." I'm like, "Yes, Young Justice is back."
So does that continue, or
Yes.
does it start
Yeah,
again?
it literally got cancelled. I think it got cancelled because of Teen Titans Go. I swear that was
Was
the
that, or I know that there was another merchandising thing tied into it as well. No, one
Yeah,
was
they
buying
didn't
the
make any
toys.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it got cancelled. Then the fans, it went on Netflix, and the fans just kept watching the
This
first
was
2 seasons, and there was a
Zack
campaign.
Snyder's Justice League before Zack Snyder's Justice League because it got so popular,
Yeah.
it brought back for a 3rd
And
season.
then-
Wow.
and-
Well,
and-
Netflix pay for it now.
5th season now.
No, they've done a 3rd season, and their 4th one is coming out soon.
Yeah,
Right,
but
okay.
it's like you say, there is an underlying story arc.
They had the story all written out.
Yeah.
But they just didn't make it.
They just couldn't get it through.
They got all the voice actors back, everything.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and it kept the animation pretty similar.
Pretty similar, yeah.
to
All-
the
the
original, which is
characters
great.
learn and grow. So
Massively, yeah.
from Robin to Nightwing to other characters get upgrades and new powers.
The bad guys are the Reach in
Yeah.
the 2nd season, and they're really,
The blue,
really
with
cool.
Blue Beetles,
Yeah.
scarabs.
But
and
then you learn other stuff about Vandal. You know, there's a legion of superhero villains as well. You got led by
The
Vandal
Lights.
Savage, the
Yeah.
Light,
Okay.
and they're doing stuff in the background which is related to the entire of all 3 seasons.
Yeah, it's
wow.
so good.
Yeah, it's
So
very
like what
complex.
starts out as like, oh, it's just another kidsy. Meant for kids, teen superheroes. Let's show it to my kids, kind of thing. It's actually a really adult, complex show, and I fucking love it.
Yeah.
It is, yeah, I highly recommend
Sounds
it.
really
If you haven't-
deep.
Well, it's
if
my
you
number
haven't watched-
2.
If you haven't watched it, like try and spend some time.
And you can binge watch
If,
as
if
well.
that's Rob's number 3, I'm intrigued. Well, we know what 2 is now. I'm intrigued what number 1 is.
Well, my
Damn.
number 1's really
The
obvious.
annoying thing was as well, season 2, the way it came out, it was a nightmare. It was like 1 or 2 episodes, a month break, 1 episode, 3 months break, and it took ages to watch season 2. But now, and I remember watching it, like going, I can't remember what happened in the last episode. I had to keep rewatching the episodes
Right, okay.
to remember what happened because it was such a long break between each one. So when you can binge watch it, and it makes so much sense, and it's so good, and the payoff at the end is
So it's
amazing.
still going in theory.
Yeah, we're waiting.
Yeah.
We're waiting
Yeah,
heavily.
so it
for
was
season 4.
cancelled. It's been brought back,
Yeah.
and then say season 4's on its way.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to do that on the?
Yeah. So we reacted. So we reacted to season 3 because obviously season 1 and 2 was out before the channel started. And me and Ross had watched it countless times. There was not really any point reacting to
I'm
it.
fairly
So
sure it was when you guys talking about it at Archery that got me to go back and watch it before we started doing it on the thing.
yeah, it was
There's one episode where the Reach are trying to blow up this facility, and like each sidekick goes in with their mentor. So Miss Martian goes with Manhunter, Superboy goes in with Superman.
team.
Yeah,
team
Wonder Girl goes in with Wonder Woman. But then when Batman, you've got Dick Grayson,
Nightwing.
Nightwing. Yeah, you got Batgirl and you got Tim Drake.
Yeah,
Right.
And they're all like, the other teams are like, right,
Chatting
move
away,
this, and they're all like friendly and everything. Batman and the team do not say anything.
They drop down
just come
together
in,
and they
hand
just go
signs,
like,
and they just go off, and they're like the amazing team, and everyone's like, okay, this is good.
It's just so well done. And it's like what Nightwing's going to Batgirl, like maneuver 7. She's like, okay, and it flips
They
her
just
up
know
and
exactly,
stuff.
and they're just like the best team in the world.
Yeah,
You just watch them in action, and everyone's like, okay.
There's also a great episode of that when you get Vandal Savage's point of view for why he's doing what he's doing.
Oh, yeah.
This is villains we like are villains that feel human, and when you understand what Vandal Savage is up to, you fully understand his motivations for what he's doing. And it's like, this is a really, really complex character.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just
And like season 1, especially the first few episodes, they're not a team. They're just because they've been.
That's the best thing about it.
Yeah.
They think they just
They think
never work
they know
together.
the best, and like Robin, for instance, just works with Batman, where Batman doesn't say anything; he just knows what to do. So as soon as they get to a forest or something, and they're trying to track down Bane, right? They're all like, right, so what should we do? And then Robin's already left. He's like in the
stealth,
and then he does this like weird laugh in the shadows.
Right.
And like, where the hell's Robin? And he's just doing his Batman thing because that's what he's used to, and it's just so good.
and
to
he
watch.
automatically assumes because Batman's in charge of Justice League, he should be in charge
Yeah.
of this team, even though he's the youngest. He's like, well, Batman's in charge, so I've been trained by him, so I should be in charge. And it's this whole debate and realise that like you're great, but you've been taught by Batman, who's not a team player, so we need someone else. So Aqualad becomes the leader.
Yeah.
Who's a character I never knew before that show, and he's
amazing.
absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cannot recommend it enough.
So as soon as you guys go home, I'm going to start.
You should. definitely,
I
mate.
reckon I've watched season 1 and 2 at least 10 times.
I think it's
Wow.
on that
Wow.
show
Yeah.
for watching it is on par with my number 1 for watching it back.
Yeah, well, my number 1 and 2 kept switching throughout the week,
Okay.
and this is my number 2.
Nice.
Is it on your top 5?
It was going to be. It was going to be my number 3, but I thought these guys are 100% putting this in, and I was getting a bit nervous when you were going through. I was like, if they haven't put Young Justice in, I'm going to be really pissed off. So I was going to swap this one out for Young Justice, but now you said it, I can keep my number 3 in now.
cool.
Good choice, then, Rob.
Oh, very good. Yeah.
Well, I had to get something before Ross stole it. So
Yeah.
Well, he did say put it round, so
yeah.
someone's going to steal something. So, what's your number 3?
So, all right, so my number 3. Okay, again, nostalgia overload, right? And it's maybe not.
I love it when you say that. It always reminds me of the children's episode, kids show episode we did.
I can't want to guess it. I think I know what it might be.
You guess if you want.
Is it The Flash?
The 90s Flash.
Oh,
yeah, man.
Okay.
John Wesley Shipp.
I'm so glad you
Flash TV show. So this show, I mean, there was a video like back in the day when you had video stores, local one in Ifield. I used to rent this out. It was like the first, I guess it must have been two or three episodes to do the pilot of the show, and then there was a couple of episodes on it. I used to rent this out every week. It's literally the 90s TV show of the Flash. So what John Wesley Shipp, who is like his dad in the new show, and also Jay Garrick in the new show, that actor was the Flash originally, and it was just such. I mean, I used to love the show anyway, but the fact that he's come back into the new Flash. And then in Crisis, he was the Flash that actually saved the universe. I'm just like, God damn it, man. I used to watch this as a kid. And now it's come all the way full circle. And it's bloody awesome. And it even had Mark Hamill as the trickster.
Yeah.
With his Joker voice before he was the actual Joker from the animated series. And it's just nostalgia. Man. I watch it not regularly. I watch it often, especially the first few episodes. Because even though it was pretty dated, his suit looked really cool. Still looks really cool to this day. The way they designed it. And I mean, the animation's not great, but the rest of it is such a cool show. And I actually got to watch the full season a few years ago now. I actually managed to find the DVD and got it. And it's actually, I think it's only it's not that long. It's like 15 episodes, maybe 20 episodes. Not that long at all.
Still
holds
hits you on a personal level to be in your top 5.
Massively, man. It's got a cool theme tune. And it's just, again, because you get to see him in the new Flash show as Jay Garrick and as his dad.
What a way to enter, bringing the multiverse of the TV shows.
The fact he got to wear that suit again in the crossovers, and it's just like, my God, this is the thing I used to watch as a kid. That was like probably. I mean, I guess it was on TV, but I never saw it. Because I guess it might have been more 80s than 90s. I guess the show, don't know, but so it was never on TV. So just get this VHS from this rental store all the time, and it's just such a nostalgic show that I could watch and just get those feelings of being a kid again and going, this is awesome. It's probably my first introduction to a superhero as well. When you said what was your first introduction?
So that's why you can.
That could have been it. That's the first thing I remember watching as a kid.
Nice.
Was just seeing it in the video store.
I think your number 1 is mine.
What is your number 1?
No, it's
the
not my
first
number
thing.
1, but I think it's.
I think us three must have the same number 1.
I think
No.
Sure.
Anyway, so that's. I mean, like, I don't think either of you guys have probably watched the TV show, but we've seen him in the Flash, the CW crossovers and everything.
I remember your reaction when he showed up in Elseworlds.
Oh, man, so good. Yeah, it's just like, oh my god. And then just say like the ending on the treadmill when he was.
Oh yeah.
When it's meant to be Barry, like Barry from the show.
The way they make him Jay Garrett, and he's the one that teaches him you can't go back in time because he does the
cup.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like it's not Barry Allen, but it's Jay Garrett, and it's a speedster. You kind of get that reference that I've done this before, kid, and I'll show you how to do it. It's just so well done.
Yeah. And for people that never seen the show, we get like people, and even the doctor from who's in charge of Mercury Labs was his assistant in the show, and then obviously brought Mark Hamill into the Flash show as the trickster in it as well. So they bring all these characters back.
Was she not Iris? I thought she was Iris.
No, she was the doc. She was Doctor.
Okay.
I think maybe the same name that she is in the show, but she was like his assistant. Who used to like put but
Make me coffee.
But like used to like track his vitals and stuff in a van and like make sure he was okay because they
like
did,
the Cisco and the Caitlin,
because they do this whole thing like so they do it in this show and they did it in Young Justice with Wally. They don't do it in this show, but the fact that he has to eat loads of calories to keep up. Like they would do it in the old show. He'd order like 10 pizzas and just scoff them all down really
I
quickly.
just remembered something about Young Justice. Damn it!
We'll go back in a sec. But yeah, he used to, if he would run too fast, he'd start like his body would start shutting down, and she'd have to go and help him and stuff.
Sure.
He didn't realise what would happen. I think the first time he got powers, because it's the same thing, like an electrical storm hits him, but he's like going to run for a bus because he's about to miss it. He starts running, and then suddenly he just goes, choom, and it's just like the way they did the graphics back then was just there was a picture of him in front, and he was just running really fast, and he just sped up, and he ran all the way to the beach into the sea, and he's just like, the hell, that's like 10 miles. What the hell just happened? And he starts eating loads of. Again, similar to, I guess, the Lois Clark show. He used to use his powers a lot, just as Barry Allen, all the time, like do stuff around the house and all that, and work and stuff. Which he's just like, he's a superhero. And actually, just uses his powers when
That's what you would do.
Not just when you're dressed up saving people. So, yeah, great show.
Nice, man. And only 15 episodes.
I think so. I swear it's like 15, 20 episodes. I might be lying, but I think that's all I watched. It's only one season.
Okay, so good choice. Mine is. I'm worried of saying this now because it's probably going to be someone's number one, but no, definitely won't be yours. Definitely won't be yours. But X-Men '94 is going to be mine. If anyone who knows me, apart from being a massive Superman fan, X-Men were the comics that got me into comics. This is going back to what I was saying about a TV show that got you into comics. I was like heavily in my prime reading X-Men comics, and then this TV series came out. And it just blew my fucking balls off. It was just everything I wanted from it. It's also the TV show that got my dad to buy a stereo surround system. Nice. Do you ever remember the start? It actually said in stereo at the bottom.
Yeah, I remember you saying this story about it.
So my dad saw me watch an episode once, and then the next weekend he bought one to see if it actually was in stereo. So
it's my ringtone, by the way.
Is it really?
and it's my
but not Evolution.
It's my ringtone as well.
It's a cracking. But it was the stories as well.
They were pulled directly from the comics.
Yeah. Did you guys ever watch it and go, oh look, there's Nightcrawler in the background, or there's such and such?
Like Deadpool's
Colossus and stuff. Yeah,
Deadpool shows up just randomly in one episode.
I think like Morph changes into him in an episode.
Yeah. Just like nice little Easter eggs and whatnot.
Yeah, because it's a weird team. It's a weird lineup as well. Because I again, like when it was on, I think it was on Live and Kicking in the mornings. I never heard of the X-Men when that show came on. I was like, I knew Batman, I knew Superman, I knew Spider-Man. It was his X-Men show, and I was like, I'll give it a go. It was, and I was just like, this guy who can like got massive laser beams. This guy with fucking claws. What the hell's going on here? It's amazing. And, like just all these different characters, and then the whole twist of it is like they've got these powers, but like every other superhero that tries to help people and stuff, they're just mutants, and they're seen as like mistakes outcasts and stuff. It's a whole.
I love that concept to it though. It was just like, be the outsiders, try and fit in, and save these people that really fear and hate you. Yeah. Why would you do it?
Yeah, and you can sort of like, and Magneto's obviously he's the bad guy. He's the opposite to him, and it's like we're the next evolution.
Yeah, we're better than them.
Yeah, we're better than them, and you can kind of see his point. It's like one of those bad guys.
Is he a bad guy?
Yeah, one of those bad guys where you can totally see where he's coming from, and the fact that him and Charles have this whole relationship of like they were friends and they've drifted for different points of opinion. It's so much depth to that series, but just even the concept of X-Men, but the series just did such a good job. Yeah,
and then it introduced me to other villains of theirs, which because again I was only just getting into the comics at the time. But like we did the Heroes and Villains episode where I put Omega Red and Mr. Sinister and all that, and then going back and reading them, and it just eye opener, because like when you think these characters, there's always more to it, isn't there? And that's where that show helped me out with it. Exactly.
Comics,
yeah,
It's the only time on TV they've actually, or in film, they've adapted the Dark Phoenix saga properly.
Yeah. And that was 7-part show or something like that.
For a 20-minute episode show. And then they did the Phoenix saga, and they did the Dark Phoenix saga like a little while after that as well. And it was like,
it's like a kid show was always maybe 1 or 2 parts, but 7. It's
they went proper into it.
You missed one Saturday morning, you were screwed.
That's it, mate. This is it, exactly.
You couldn't go and watch it back online.
Damn it, long play.
I said 6 episodes.
Exactly, I said 6.
I actually think that happened to me. I think I used to record them on TV, and I think I missed like the last 2 episodes.
I definitely did that.
Yeah. I got like the first 3 or 4 episodes. It's the bit where they're just about to go into space, and then it cut, and it went to like the end, like past that arc, and it went on something else. I was like, what the hell happened? I don't even know what's going on. You get the DVD box set, and you're like, there's all these episodes I never actually knew that existed.
Life of luxury and binge, mate. Even on the DVD box set.
Oh, man,
and it actually had an ending in this series as well. So
yes, it did. Yeah, it's a really sad ending.
Which is why I had to ask about, because I knew Evolution, never watched it, but were you guided about that not ending as the other one did?
I was just annoyed that it ended, but I don't remember it being like a cliffhanger or anything like that. It was, great.
Not a Krypton cliffhanger.
No, it wrapped up that season, and you're like, okay, on to the next one, and it never came. That was the downer for it.
So yeah.
So I'm guessing no one else has got this in their top 5, but there's another X-Men show which is like Wolverine in the X-Men.
No, shh!
What? Surely not.
No, it's not gone.
No. That was a great show. I was thinking about putting that in my top 5 because I really enjoyed that show. That was only 2 seasons.
I thought you were going to say you were only 2 at the time.
I was only 2 at the time. No, because it came out after Evolution. It's like the latest one.
I've got to say it was 1.
I think it was maybe one season.
Was it called?
It was the one where it was the bit where Wolverine go to see Scott when he was down out in his apartment.
Yeah, he just blew him through a wall.
He just goes straight out the wall.
It's a good talk. Good talk. Yeah, good talk. But yeah, I mean, it was very centered. I think because the movies were out at the time, it was very centered around Wolverine, and Wolverine was the central character, which bothers me sometimes. But the artwork and the actual stories around them was so good. That show was really good.
X-Men's just awesome, full stop.
Yeah. There's not been a bad X-Men TV show yet.
That's why I'm excited about the Eternals.
So they could bring the mutants into the MCU.
Running theory.
Fingers crossed.
But where were they through the other phase?
Yeah. I said to go on the reaction to the Eternals. Maybe Thanos snapped all of them out of existence, and that's why they went around. But
exactly.
If they didn't, there's going to be some answers needed from these people.
Exactly.
I think their memory was wiped.
Someone said that in the comments. Apparently, they got memory got wiped, and they're sort of normal people now. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a bit weird. But I don't know. We'll find out. When
like Rob said, it's going to take some explanation.
Was that your number 3 or 2?
3, number 3.
Cool. Okay.
So we're going to do number 2.
Old Captain America sort of.
Number 2.
So your guys have done your 2s, haven't you? So you want to go?
Yeah. So my number 2 is the Daredevil Netflix show.
Oh, choice.
Okay.
That was my number 6.
Was it?
It was on. Yeah, the Netflix sort of series are up there.
Yes.
The best Netflix show.
That's out of the 4 or 5 Marvel shows they did. Yeah. That was like it's just so good, man. I mean, I'm one of those few people that actually like the Ben Affleck movie, especially the director's cut. I quite enjoy it, and he's one of my top superheroes anyway. When we did our top 5 heroes, he was in that. And just this show, like it was one of those ones where it was the first one of this Netflix run that they were doing, and no idea what to expect. And it's just so grounded, and like the first season, especially, he doesn't even get his suit till right at the end. And you've got an amazing guy playing the Kingpin. Charlie Cox as Daredevil is just is like similar to.
He is Daredevil.
Yeah, he's similar to like Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man and like Chris Evans as Captain America. He is Daredevil. Like I'm hoping there's rumours he might be coming back into like the new Spider-Man movie. It was about Matt Murdock and stuff. Please God, bring him back because he was so good at being Matt Murdock and just the trauma he's gone through and the whole backstory of him. And then season 2 comes along and you've got they introduce the Punisher, which is obviously a spin-off show. And then you've got introduce Elektra and the Hand. Amazing. And I was like, this can't get much better than this. And then season 3, Jesus Christ, it was like even better. They had they actually focused on the Kingpin and like him coming back from after the Defenders crossover thing. And it's just, I can't
and
praise
the fight scenes are just brutal.
I mean, it's the pinnacle of like every time there's a hallway in that show now, it's like, oh, it's going to be a fight, it's going to be awesome.
And unless a mook's taking a microwave to the face, it's like,
it's just shot so well because they use his powers so well about being able to fight, and he takes punches all the time because the whole point of like.
You see his father's boxing
Yeah.
blood in him and stuff. It's so
Is it in season 2 and 3 as well? They have the development where the ninjas show up, the hand from the hand.
Yes, in
And
season 2.
they're able to quieten their heartbeats so he can't hear them.
Yeah.
And he has to learn new tricks to find out where they are. And
Yeah,
that's,
exactly, and it brings in Stick, who like
Yeah.
trains him and stuff, and all that kind of, and all that whole concept. And yeah, they just go a lot more deeper than any of the movies the movie ever did, and even the comics I read, like this show went a lot deeper, and I learned a lot about him. They just and even having like Foggy and Karen in it and everything, and just,
because even the lawyer side of it is done really well,
Yes.
isn't it? And
Yeah.
then when it ties into like Jessica Jones,
with Foggy in here, you're like berating him for taking the superhero side too much, and then he has the whole thing where he goes off and tries to become the vigilante only, and then Foggy's like, "No, you get out of my law firm now. It's mine. You're not here to be a lawyer anymore."
he goes.
Karen finds him like half dead in the apartment and stuff. Oh,
You've got Claire the nurse as well. Who comes who's now Ahsoka.
Let's not forget about possibly the best portrayal of the Kingpin I've seen.
Yes, that's what I say. Like that, I mean, that makes season 3 for me. Even though I love Charlie Cox's development in season 3 coming back. What's his name?
Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yes, as the
Private
Kingpin.
Bile.
That's a fair point. Yeah.
He is just. I mean, I remember in season 1. Like, spoilers for people, but there's a bit where because he like basically runs New York with all these different gangs, and there's this gang that keeps failing him. He actually grabs the guy and puts his head in the car door and just smashes it, and he keeps smashing it. You hear the skull crack and just falls to the floor. And I was just like, Jesus Christ, I'm watching a fucking TV show, and this is happening. This is insane.
But then he's like a pussy when Vanessa's in the room.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
Yeah, he's probably like intimidated by it. But even like because they bring in Bullseye,
Yes.
in season 3 as well, and he's done really well.
Did they use that in the Vanessa angle for Into the Spider-Verse? If you've seen that film, because that's the Kingpin's whole motivation for opening the rift in that.
To bring back his family.
Because they died on the bus.
Yeah.
Oh, he sees them on the bus.
Great film that. I love that movie.
Best
Yes.
Spidey movie out there.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I don't know if anyone else got comments on it, but yeah, I love the show. If you haven't seen it, guys, go watch it. So, I mean, it's not on Netflix.
And his suit's awesome when he gets it as well.
Yes.
So would you like him to be in the MCU?
Yes.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
I cut him and the part. I mean, all of them really. I don't know if they bring back Iron Fist and maybe Luke Cage didn't do as well, but definitely Punisher and Daredevil. I could 100% see in the MCU.
Did you?
That rooftop scene in season 2.
Because these shows sort of come out, or these seasons sort of come out when they had the whole transfer between Disney buying out Marvel and all that sort of stuff. So did you kind of know at some point this was going to get cancelled?
I was kind of hoping that they were going to continue it. They were going to see how popular it was and be like, "Oh, these shows are actually great. Let's."
Because it was the most popular out of the lot, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, if they'd have if Kevin Feige would have been like, "Oh, well, it's not going to be directly in our MCU, but we'll keep it, and it would just be separate."
Yeah.
I would have been fine with it.
Because they still, even though it wasn't the same property, they still mentioned the event, like all of the event in season 1, which was the end of Avengers with the New York
The
attack.
reporter had the things in his office, didn't he?
Yeah.
That had the New York attack.
Yeah, so it is linked into the MCU in a way.
It wasn't directly, it was just sort of...
I kind of had Kingpin ruined for me in this series because someone had watched it before me, and he said, "Oh, Kingpin talks like he's just burnt his tongue on a hot potato."
Oh, no.
So when I watched the show, all I could see was going, "Yes, well, if you decide to come in and want to do that," it's just like it complete. I mean, he's a great actor. He did portray Kingpin as much, but when he spoke, that just threw me completely. I was kind of gutted about that, but no, it's a cracking series. It's a good, definitely good choice. Choice.
Just stupid things like him playing a blind guy. I could believe he's blind.
Yeah.
I don't know how he does it as an actor. Like literally doesn't focus on anything because your eyes must naturally focus when you're doing it. When he takes his glass off and he's just looking dead.
I would like to know if they've ever CGI'd his eyes because he did look at something and they were like, "Oh, it was such a good take."
Yeah.
We'll just direct them into
You fucked it up.
Stop looking around.
I mean, I can see them doing it just to,
Yeah,
if
sure,
something
totally.
doesn't quite look right, they can just...
Do you
it's
remember
not
there was an
very-
interview with Charlie Cox where he was saying that he had to learn how to not look like
It must be such a
Wow,
difficult.
really?
I could not even
It's
comprehend
like
how difficult it must be.
when he's in a scene, he's got to keep his eyes locked so that whenever he moves his head, these eyes stay the same.
Yeah.
So he doesn't end up looking like other
Because
things.
you just
That must take
And you put
months
your-
or
and you
to
put
do
your
or
finger
something
in the
like that.
drink, don't you?
Yes.
To see how full it is and stuff
all
like
that,
that.
all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Because you know there'd be a blind person to be like, "Oh, you did it wrong."
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Think,
How
about,
do you
think
know?
about what I just said.
very good. Very true.
He said it in Braille.
yeah. Wait a sec.
Yeah, because it's just I remember because I started rewatching season 1 again recently. It's things like when he gets Karen to stay at his place, and she's like, "Oh, you got a great apartment." He goes, "Yeah, apparently it was not. It was really cheap because there's a big neon light outside the window." He goes, "It doesn't really bother me." It's like it's literally just
Perfect.
goes right into his it's just
So it tied off with Defenders. So does Does Defenders end it, or
No,
is it?
it's Defenders. So something at the end of Defenders, like he sort of is seen as dead because he stays with Elektra, and then season 3 is they find him and they take him to the church.
Also, Defenders is before season 3.
Yeah,
I see. I didn't know.
Yes, and so season 3 is post that because there's a whole great moment where he's just clogged up with blood and stuff, and he has to put water up his nose and try and clog it out, and he's lost his senses and everything. So try and get that back. Oh man, so good. I have to watch that again.
Nice.
It's my number 2.
Number 2. My number 2.
It won't be mine.
You sure?
Yeah, 100%.
Brilliant.
God. Spider-Man 94.
Nice.
I know what you're whispering for.
Yeah, I was kind of worried about it because I put it in there and I was like, oh shit, that might be Ross's number 1. So it's not.
No, it's not.
Oh, thank fuck for that.
I was tempted, but it's like you say, that's in my top.
I think
6
yeah,
to
it's
10.
in my top 10.
Exactly.
It's in my top 10.
Yeah,
It's the same era as X-Men, right? It's just that whole show was just great.
Yeah, and again, I wasn't the biggest Spider-Man fan because you know what era I grew up with of Spider-Man. So this, like I said, going back to what X-Men opened up with new villains, this opened up a whole world for Spider-Man with me. I know a lot of the stories aren't exactly 100% the same as the show, but to go back and spend my pocket money and buy these books and get me to be the Spider-Man fan I am today, it was because of this show. And if I hadn't watched this show, I probably wouldn't be as big a fan of Spidey as I'm sure you guys are bigger fans than me of it. But especially you, Ross. I mean, he's one of your favourites at the end of the day. So what else can I say about it? We talk about it all the time. And whoever is listening to the show probably knows what I'm talking about when it gets to it. But yeah, that's my number 2.
good pick.
I think I love some of the things I love. I love again. Same with Batman. His rogues gallery is so good.
Yeah.
The fact you can have a Sinister Six, they can actually pick 6 villains to put in together to try and stop him.
Insidious 6 in the show because they couldn't say Sinister.
Oh yeah, sorry, in the Sinister. Yeah, sorry.
that's true.
Yeah. And just, I really enjoyed with him. You had the whole monologue, like internal monologue, when he just talked to himself, narrate himself.
That's why
quite a
I
lot.
love the beginning of Amazing Spider-Man 2 because it reminds me of that show. Because when,
Oh,
he's
yeah, like,
swinging, he's like, New York, what have you got me today? And he's listening to the radio on the helicopter.
Yes.
And then he hears that Rhino's like downtown. And I'm like, yes, that's what I want. And then I just want more of that.
I'm Rhino!
Don't want that bit, but yeah.
No, yeah.
What's what you're saying about introducing us to villains that you wouldn't necessarily think to look at, like Omega Red in the X-Men show? Is you've got things like Morbius is in that show, isn't he?
Yes,
There's a massive arc. It's not just one
Again, never knew
episode.
about that character, but apart from that, it wasn't for show. I think Craven was another one I never knew about. So,
Yeah, I mean,
which has just been cast now.
Yeah, I know. I just saw who Aaron, whatever his name is, just been cast.
Yeah.
Kick-Ass.
Yeah.
Or Quicksilver.
Oh, yeah. I keep forgetting about that, yeah.
But I
You
also
didn't see that coming.
Yeah, no, literally.
understood that reference. But I don't think I knew about Venom until that show.
Yes.
Oh, that's got to be the best 3
Isn't
episodes.
Carnage in that as well?
Yeah, he's later on, but I don't remember. I remember watching the episode and being like, because Jane Jameson's son, like, is an astronaut, and it crashes on the Brooklyn Bridge, and he goes and saves him. And he's got this black ooze, and I thought, what the hell is going on here? And then he get this suit, and I'm like, this suit's bloody awesome. And I love the black suit. I think it looks so.
Do you know
good.
what? I wanted Spider-Man 3 to have that opening.
Oh.
Yes, you wish.
Yeah,
Wish you're thinking.
right?
It's the only
It just
downside-
crashes in the park.
Because his son's in number 2. That means it's got to be number 3.
The only downside to Venom, the film,
Yeah.
is that they don't
Yeah.
have Spider-Man in the suit.
Probably.
But no, I'm vice versa with you. So I knew of Venom, but didn't know about Carnage because of that show. So
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And they brought in, I love the designs of all the characters. I think maybe Mysterio is one of my favourite villains because of that show as well, because he looks really cool in that. And Scorpion.
If Doctor Strange comes in.
Doctor Strange is in it as well.
Daredevil.
Again, maybe another reason why I love Daredevil, because
Blade's
he's in that.
yeah, the crossovers with
'Cause
Wolverine
Morbius-
coming into it as well, whatnot.
Yeah, because there's the one where he mutates and has the spider arm.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
Punisher
one of my
comes in it.
favourite episodes.
Yeah,
That
He
is,
thinks he
yeah.
might be a mutant, so he goes to see Professor Xavier.
That's right.
Yes,
Yeah.
the X-Men, and then the Punisher is like, sort of thinks he's a bad guy, so tries to take him down. Yeah. So good. So they bring so many characters into that show. And again, it's one, and even going through near the end, when you go into the Secret Wars, like going to that planet and bringing everyone in, and then the final bit where they have all the Spider-Men from the different universes.
Yeah, Madam Web brings them together.
Yeah.
And then he goes and sees Stan Lee at the end.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, he goes because one Spider-Man doesn't have any powers. Well, there they use. I'm an actor and plays you on TV. And he's like, what? It's just so clever. Then they don't finish it, which is really annoying. They even, another really the deep one was when the Green Goblin finds out who he is. And then, of course, they didn't have Gwen Stacy in it. They used Mary Jane, but takes Mary Jane, and then she like in the comics. Obviously, Gwen Stacy falls and but they had to use Mary Jane. She just disappears, and he thinks she's dead. And this whole trauma that he goes through on a TV
Because he doesn't see
cartoon.
that he uses the Spots gadget to open up black holes, and she falls through that, and they have no idea about it.
Yeah, and then Yeah,
and you have your Hydra Man with Jackal, and he
Yes.
marries the clone.
Yeah.
And he doesn't find out till like 8 episodes later.
Yeah,
Which
it's-
he just sort of like disintegrates in his arms.
Yeah,
It's like, what?
and it's just it's so deep for
Yeah.
a TV show, man. It's really they go really it's, again like long story arcs
Yeah.
that I don't think ever happened because X-Men had it. So yeah, it's a bit, like those shows.
Yeah, but it's like the whole, like I think by like season 3, the whole season is like an arc of something, isn't it? Where,
Yeah.
where it's like the mutation and stuff. Like the way that he tricks Toombs into taking his youth, and then he takes his mutated spider form and then
Yeah.
leaves him with it. I thought that was a great way. Of
yeah,
doing
yeah,
it.
it's like genius.
So good.
Yeah, they do a really good job. It's just it's drawn really well, and it's just it's a great show. They did great Kingpin again.
Voice actor as well. Of,
Yeah.
what's his name?
Yeah,
Oh my God.
Prince Eric from Little Mermaid.
Is it really?
Yeah, you listen to Little Mermaid now. I'm just like, come on, Spider-Man. God damn it.
Yeah. It's like
Watch it with the kids.
yeah,
you're
it's like Kingpin and his hot potato mouth.
I love the way that he was voiced Spider-Man Noir from the Shattered Dimension game. Did you ever play that?
I love Shattered
my
Dimensions.
God,
That's
yeah.
one of my favourite Spidey games ever. That
That's
is.
one of the few games that's got my favourite Spider-Man Noir in it.
Yeah.
Yes, I was about to say that was
It's
a wicked man.
And the way
that
that
was.
he's the stealth version
Yes.
as well is
Yeah.
so good. Oh, man.
Especially the Spider-Man Noir into the Spider-Verse when it came.
Yes.
yeah. Of all people,
How's this cape flapping? There's no wind in here. He's like puzzled by the...
I don't know what this is, but Dana
I freaking love that movie.
It's so good. It's like, okay, just one more origin. It's all right. Just one more.
They did another one to that.
Oh, yeah.
It was so popular though.
Yeah,
Doing-
one Academy Award as well, didn't
It's
it?
meant to
So
have Andrew and Toby in it as well as the live action version.
that would be cool. Yeah.
It's weird that they're going to do the same story in a live action and an animated film at the same time.
Just a side spin off. Everyone, you and I saw that in the cinema, Ross, and there was like 5 other people in the cinema watching it with us because no one was going to see it, even though it turned out to be a really popular movie. And then you get to right to the end of the credits, and it's got the meme with the Spider-Man meme.
Yes.
60 Spider-Man.
We were killing ourselves, and the guy behind us was killing himself. It's like everyone in here knows what that's about.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
I used to love that 60s Spider-Man TV
Yeah.
show as well.
Great theme tune as well.
That's
Was that the one you said you watched on the other episode?
No.
No.
Cool. So what was that? Your number 2?
That was number 2.
Yeah, okay.
So we're going to go to our number ones.
It's number 1.
Would anyone like to go first?
Well,
if not,
Do you want me to go?
Because
I know what yours is. Yours isn't the same as ours.
Yeah, I think yours and
Oh,
ours are
yours is
probably
both the same, is it?
I think so.
so yeah,
pretty
this is well, we're worried about the clash. So
Well, do you want to go the obvious one first, or do you want to do Ross's?
you know mine, so it's pretty obvious for
Yeah,
that.
well, you're not the same as yours. I mean, do you want me and Rob to go first? Like, I'll say my top one and see if yours is the same.
Right.
Right,
Yeah, right.
3, 2, 1.
So Batman animated series.
Yeah.
Go on, guys, go for it.
Sweet as.
Okay. Where do you want to start on that?
All right, that's episode 1. It starts on a dark night.
They were coming out of Mask of Zorro at the cinema.
It's hard to pick what part of that show makes it so damn good. Whether it's the music,
Just
the animation
everything.
style, the storylines, the art. It's,
Voice acting.
as a whole, like you say, the other shows I've talked about have got like character growth and development, but the way this show is just up there. Like Stu talks about nostalgia for his picks.
Yeah.
For me, that's me. It's like
Sure.
This is what made me
this is
like
what Batman is for me.
That's what. This is the show that when you asked, what got you into comics?
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, it's a bit the same for me as well. It's just one of those shows that just everything about it is great. Even I still watch it back now. I watch it with my kids. Like I've brainwashed them. They watch it all the time.
The other thing as well, you watch
Did
it.
you Clockwork Orange them?
Yeah, 100%.
You watch it and you're like, oh, that's cool. And then you find out later that was they changed that origin. Like
Yeah.
Mr. Freeze, for instance, with Nora.
Yeah,
And nothing like that in the
Yeah,
comics.
that's-
And they made
Heart
it
of
in the
Ice
show.
is phenomenally
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
it's
It's
so
a-
good.
I mean, like Harley Quinn was created in this show.
and
Yeah.
Renee Montoya.
Yeah, so
character
it's
as well.
like all these things in this show, and it's just I mean, when I close my eyes and think about Batman, that's what I see. The animated series is it, and it's just so well done. Everything about. I mean, even the way it was like I watched all the documentaries and thinking about how it came about, how it was drawn on black paper.
Yeah.
So I looked at Duck, so that they draw it. And
You
it's
can
just.
kind of tell when you look at it, can't you?
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
got
you
something
can see it now when you watch like the DVD, the Blu-rays of it, where you can see all the whereas actually there's bits of dust and stuff when they've done it, and there's a few on the box set. There is like Bruce Timm and Paul Dini and a few others like narrate over the top of it. And you can say there's some episodes like, well, because we had to like ship some of the episodes out to other companies to draw it, and they didn't follow the.
That's
like,
why it's in such a
blueprints.
weird order as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, to do it, but it's just I mean, there's so many shows. The character designs. I say like
They're iconic, aren't they? It's Bruce Timm.
yeah,
And,
yeah. I mean, like when you say who is Batman, I say Kevin Conroy. When you say who the Joker is, I say Mark Hamill.
Yeah. Oh God, that's part of the show, isn't it?
And I didn't realize for a very long time afterwards who Mark Hamill was. Like, I just Joker's awesome.
That meme that came out where it's got the different Jokers you have in live action, where it's like the gangster and it's got Jack Nicholson, and the anarchist, and you've got Heath Ledger, and sort of thing. It gets through all of them, and it's just got Mark Hamill's Joker.
It's just so what I like, and the story of how he became how he got it, because he's the voice of the guy Mr. Freeze is after in Heart of Ice. That guy, Mark Hamill's always, he just did a cameo role. He's like, this show's gonna be great. He's such a big fan as well. I didn't realize, because Kevin Conroy isn't really a comic book fan before this, but Mark Hamill was, and they were like, they want you to do a screen test for the Joker, and he's like, I'm Luke Skywalker, man. No one's gonna make Luke Skywalker the Joker. They're just stupid. He did it. And they're like, yeah, we want you to be Joker. And he's just like, what? And he couldn't remember how he laughed, what he did, and just all his different laughs. I mean, he freaks me out. Like, that Joker out of all of them is scariest to me, but that's why I love him so much. And all the Riddler in that show, the Scarecrow, Mr. Freeze. I mean, all of them. Two-Face, the origin of Two-Face was great. Poison Ivy.
That's why you like Ben Affleck as Batman so much, because he looks like the animated series.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he really does.
It's also the storytelling in that as well. Modern Batman shows tend to focus more on action, but he does a lot more detective work.
In
this show.
Yeah,
and he's a lot less built. Like, he's not the greatest fighter in the world, because he's multi-spec in detective skills and stuff. So he'll take a punch now and again. Yeah,
I think watching the documentary, they said they didn't want to make him OTT with martial arts. So he would take a punch. He would just throw right hooks and he'd take punches. And get
outsmart them.
Get shot. I mean, it's one of the first shows they actually use real gun. Like, we're allowed to use gun animation.
Yeah, it's the only show that has real guns
instead of lasers and stuff. And you say, Rob, the detective part of it is like some of my favourite bits, where he's just like, oh, what's going on? He like sneaks into police headquarters to get a file to sneak out and all this kind of stuff.
I love it. I know they did it because it was easy animation, but I just love the way where it's in a dark warehouse or some office, and his cape is draped over his shoulders, and there's just like a small slit, and it's just his hand with a torch, and he's just searching. I love that look, and they never do that in the movies. The cape is always right behind him
to show the physique.
It's like, they did it because it was easier. They didn't have to draw anything apart from 4 lines.
But that's what I like about that as well. That animation style is because he's hiding his bulk, so you can't tell what he's like underneath.
Yeah, because he's also got a bright yellow symbol and belt, so you hide it with the cape. It just makes so much more sense.
No bat nipples.
Because I think one of the writers has pulled in.
I don't know. If you want to get to an office, you could wear cat and glass. He got it off Catwoman.
Paul Dini writes all my favourite episodes. Paul Dini writes.
That's the thing. I absolutely hated Damian Wayne with a passion in the comics right up until I read Streets of Gotham, which came out just after Batman R.I.P. when Bruce had died in the comics.
Sure.
And it was left down to... This is just before Damian and Dick became Batman and Robin that was in the comic series.
Yeah.
And Paul Dini did a Streets of Gotham one, which basically focused more on them as people rather than characters. And he managed to humanise Damian Wayne in a way that made me like that character. And that's
why the Arkham games are so good, because he wrote the stories.
Yeah, again, the voice acting in the Arkham games is from the animated series. So it's just, I mean, I would hope everyone listening to this who's into comic books knows this series and has watched it. And if you haven't, goddamn, go and get that Blu-ray and
the films as well,
and the movies. I mean, the Mask of Phantasm.
Mask of Phantasm is always up there in people's lists of.
So that was during the series, was it?
Yeah,
it wasn't one that ended the series?
That was during the series, and I can't remember if Sub-Zero was post. No, it can't have been because they finished though. You've got the Batman the animated series, and you've got the New Adventures of Batman, where they changed the art style to match Superman.
Yeah.
So it had the black cape without the yellow symbol and stuff, and you had Tim Drake rather than Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson then became Nightwing. So they did that whole jump into that. And although the animation isn't as good, I definitely not. I prefer the older one. Some of the stories in that last series, like the Over the Edge one, where they're chasing the Scarecrow and Barbara gets knocked off this skyscraper and lands on Commissioner Gordon's car.
Yeah.
And dies.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm sorry, what? And Commissioner Gordon finds out she's Batgirl, and he goes on a rampage to take down Bruce Wayne, and this whole thing, you're watching it going, what the hell is going on? At the end, you find out that the Scarecrow got her with a fear toxin. She just dreamt it all.
Right.
I was just watching it. I was just like, what the hell is going? How are they going to fix this? It makes no sense.
Well, you never trust a Scarecrow story from then on.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but sometimes, I mean, I think the Scarecrow. He must have been in the comics before this show, but I didn't know of him until this show. And he got some of the greatest episodes where he gets Batman with a fear toxin, and he goes mad and gets put in Arkham. and gets all these visions of stuff happening. It's so like it's really dark. Like if you look at it
I mean,
now,
when Clayface gets made in that show, and they just show the shadow of him then pouring that toxin down his throat, and then the noises that it's making, it's just like, oh my god, watching it now, you're still turning up. It's like,
it's the episode that still freaks me out to this day is Joker's Favour, where this just normal guy is like having a really bad day, and the Joker overtakes him on the motor, and he just cuts up the Joker and starts cursing at him. And then the Joker just chases him and just like is going to kill him, and then he goes, "Oh, I'll do anything." He goes, "Oh, really? Well, I haven't thought." He goes, "Oh, really? Okay, that's fine." He goes, "Well, what do you want me to do?" He goes, "Well, I haven't thought of it yet." And then like 5 years.
You owe me a favour, isn't it?
Yeah. 5 years pass, and the Joker like needs some help, and it's the first one that Harley Quinn did.
That
as
was
well.
the cake.
Yeah. And he phones him up, and he goes, and the guy's changed his name. He's moved out of Gotham and stuff. And the Joker's like, "I've always known where you are, and I want to."
That's terrifying.
And watching it now, I'm just like, Jesus Christ, that is horrifying. That the Joker's got something over on you. It's just, it creeps me out.
Can I just ask, what era or decade is this meant to take place?
I mean, you don't know, man. You've got Tommy guns, air blimps.
Yeah. I remember seeing, the opening scene, the classic opening scene, when you got the blimps and the coppers and whatnot, and it's just, this looks very 30s. But then you've got this Batmobile in the same shot as well. And I'm like,
the aesthetic. I'm sure there's a couple of rotary phones that are sitting around.
Yeah, exactly.
Even the cars they drive, like his limousine he gets driven around in is all quite old fashioned.
Yeah,
but the characters are all modern. It's very clever the way he did it because it makes it timeless a little bit.
Yeah, and all the old factories and stuff that takes place
still
and
got
whatnot.
all the paintings and stuff in the Warner Brothers.
Well, there's rumours it's like they're bringing it back, right? There was that whole thing. I don't know the image they released.
That Cape Crusader show,
which Bruce Timm's
might be like that.
Bruce Timm's sort of been a producer on, but I'm a bit worried because that's like it's something you shouldn't touch. Like it was, that's like Young Justice. It was great, and they brought it back and it was good. I'm really worried if they try to bring this back, they change it too much because it's the animation and the way people have done is all digital now. It would just ruin.
You take the Killing Joke with Tim.
The film that came out.
Yeah, and a lot of people didn't like it, and it was the guys that made the animated series.
No, that's like that Batman and Hardy one.
It's because it was Batgirl the movie, not Killing Joke. Really,
yeah. That's a weird film for me, that one, because like I don't mind. Like,
the book's too short to make a film out.
I quite enjoyed the beginning bit with Batgirl. I was like, okay, not too bad. But the Killing Joke bit is actually pretty much page for page exactly how the story is.
Yes.
But it just didn't work. But the comic book, I read it and it's great. But that putting it onto live action just didn't. I remember we went and saw it in the cinema. And it finished, and everyone just sat in silence, and it was a really weird atmosphere.
And it was like a special showing as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it
was in Croydon, wasn't it?
Yeah,
deepest, darkest Croydon.
Yeah. And it was just, everyone just like finished.
Everyone's hyped up, ready to watch.
And everyone just
was silent.
Walked out of it really flat. And it was like, okay.
Do you think because it's such an iconic book that you expected more out of it?
I don't know.
Because even reading the book back now, it's kind of like you say, it's very short.
Yeah.
It's like it's only three issues long, I think. But
if that, Be interesting when they do quarter of hours and stuff as well.
Every time they've done a quarter of hours, they rest that up. It's one of my favourite Batman stories.
Are you worried they're going to muck it up? Or?
Well, they did it in...
Batman vs. Robin.
Batman vs. Robin, it was in that.
Yes, sorry, you're right.
Yeah, but you got the new Arkham Knight game that is going to have it, and it's written by the same guy. So hopefully, at some point... I can't wait for that game.
Gotham Knight, it's going to be so good. Co-op, sidekicking around Gotham. Yes, please. I just wish it was 4-player. I just wish it was 4-player rather than 2-player. But yeah.
So, Rob, Stu, what is your favourite episode in that series?
Oh, what? The Batman
animated series?
Do you want me to start? I can name exactly what my favourite episode is.
What's your one?
Laughing Fish.
I was going to say,
100% when he makes the Joker fish.
Okay.
I can quote that whole movie, and there's so many good moments in like him being... Like, the whole point of his story is he puts his toxin into the docks so all the fish look like him, and he wants royalties from it. So he goes to the royalty people, and it's actually, I didn't realise it's actually taken directly out of a comic book because I've got the 2 issues at home.
Okay.
It's from like the 70s, like way back, because he's like holding 2 Joker fish like guns in the front cover. It's great, and he just goes in and he goes to this guy. He goes, so they all look like me, so I want like 10% of the profits. And the guy's like, you can't do that. Like, that makes no sense.
And he's Joker, bitch.
And he's just like, what? And he like slaps him with this fish, and then Harley Quinn sprays him with this gas, and they leave. And then he goes, if you don't fix this by midnight, you'll be the saddest fish of all, or something like that. And then the police and Batman are in this guy's room, and they fire this Joker fish shaped rocket into his house, and this gas goes around. and makes it transforms him. And it's quite graphic for a cartoon. Again, it still freaks me out. Like with the old big eyes, massive smile comes out, and no one else is affected because it was like a 2-part gas thing. And yeah, then there's another person that does it too again, and Joker's basically teasing Batman, being like, "I can keep getting away with this." And then Bullock finds out where he is, and they go to this massive aquarium where there's this giant shark, which has already got a natural Joker smile to it. There's some. You've got the whole theme tune advert thing that Harley Quinn does, which cracks me up, which is about the Joker fish, and then the Joker later on because she hates fish, and he's like, I think you're right, Harley. Maybe fish are disgusting. I think I'll try my tox on burgers. Joker burgers. Talk about a happy meal. I was just like, it's just so well done. I was just like, beautiful. That's my favorite. So that's my favorite episode.
And yours the same? Or?
No,
I've got like
I almost got him, which is the one where they've got the villains sitting around the table talking about how each time they always got Batman, but one of them is Batman, and they're trying to work out
he's Killer Croc, isn't he?
Yeah, and they're trying to work out which one it is. He's like, Joker's like, well, that never happened. And then it's like, one of us must be the Batman in disguise. So they all try to figure out who it is.
wicked.
And then it's a toss up between Heart of Ice, obviously, for a great portrayal of that, or on Leather Wings, which is the
man, again, another character
because they both deal with tragedy and these characters mutating into other things, and it's really good.
Awesome.
Yeah, I also really love he's only in Clayface episodes. Because again, another character I did not know about. He's in his origin, which is a 2-parter, and then there's one later on called Mudslide. And that's it. He's only in 3 episodes of the whole show, but like he just looks amazing. I think he was in my top villains one we did because of that show.
We talked about the animation on the episodes as well.
Yeah, just the animation. And then again, that show really made me fall in love with the Riddler. And he's only in 3 episodes. I think he's in like
how many?
I mean, there's 100 and something. I think there's a lot. There's a lot in there. There's 100. But he's in his origin one, which is if you're so smart, why aren't you rich? Which has the maze in it. You've got the one where he sends a big computer to the police headquarters. What's
the one with the big like Egyptian maze thing?
Yeah, that's the origin one.
Is that the origin one? I thought that was the second one for some reason.
And then the final one is where he's in a contract with a toy company.
Yes, and he's like kind of gone straight, but he
hasn't. He's leaving clues for him and stuff, and then he stops being the Riddler after that. So there's those 3 episodes. But yeah, so many. There's loads. There isn't a bad.
Anyone with Baby Doll isn't that great.
Oh yeah, the one with Baby. Oh, also, and it introduced me to Condiment King as well.
Oh God's sake!
Fucking Condiment
King, which everyone knows is awesome. For the gun down, Russ. Who we know from the Harley Quinn show now. You know who he is. Yep. So yeah, he's introduced to that. That's another great episode with the Joker where he turns these judges that he lost in a stand-up show into these like weird supervillains. Great. I think there's one bad. I think there's one really bad episode in the New Adventures of where it's like these this farmer who like turns his animals into like I don't know crazy killers. That makes no sense. Other than that, I think every episode is amazing.
So that was a separate season. The Adventures of Batman and Robin, was it?
It was called the New Adventures of Batman and Robin. So Robin
remember the game, but I can't remember.
Yeah, Robin was in the original series, like three seasons, I think it is, and it was Dick Grayson. And then there was a gap, and then they brought the Superman TV show out, animated series out.
Yeah.
And they did the World's Finest, where they changed the look of Batman.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember why, but then they went, well, we're going to do another series of Batman.
Because the animation for the original one was too expensive.
Yeah, so
they had to pay 4 studios to make it.
Wow.
And then they couldn't do it because it was so complicated. It took them such a long time to make. When they aired them, they couldn't air them in order.
Right.
So they just were like, well, we got this one ready, let's just air it. And that's why when we mentioned the P word, when you're trying to order it, you've got the air date, you've got the actual chronological order, and then you've got the Blu-ray DVD order, and it's like, well, which one's the real one?
Yeah, right.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah, because I think there's like the Cat and the Claw or something. It's like there's a 2-parter, but it's split. It's like part 1, then there was 3 episodes, and then part 2 shows up. Yeah,
it wasn't ready.
But but I'm pretty sure it's something along the lines. Like the animated series, Superman animated series came out. They redesigned Batman. And they went, we need to do another series of Batman, but they kept that design. So then they went and redesigned all the characters and made that step up from Dick Grayson to became Nightwing, and Tim Drake became Robin. Yeah. So and Batgirl's in it as well.
Mm-hmm. It's just such a classic.
It's timeless. It's still good now. It's still I still watch it now, and it's still great.
I'm glad they finally brought out the Blu-ray box set. Years I've been waiting for that.
Yeah, like 25th anniversary.
Yeah, exactly. Because HMV kept having the DVDs exclusive, but they were done in these crappy little volumes, weren't they?
Yeah,
so
I had a few of them.
Shit out me, they did.
Yeah.
But nice, guys. Very good pick.
Cool.
Very good pick. So, you want to go, or do you want me to go?
I can
go. Want to save it for you?
What?
I got
Roscoe. Want to save the ending for you?
Roscoe, no, you go next.
Yep.
Go on, Roscoe.
I think I know what your one is, which I don't mind talking about.
Exactly.
Go for it.
So mine is Spectacular Spider-Man.
Okay.
Spectacular Spider-Man. That one.
Like,
great show.
It's a bit like the X-Men Evolution compared to the X-Men 92.
So when did this come out?
2008, I want to say.
Okay.
2 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
It got cancelled right at the end. So that was my second one.
Right, okay.
Another question back, yeah.
Because, oh my God. I think I've watched this show 20 times.
Wow.
And I never watched the last episode until recently. Because I never wanted it to end. So I thought, if I don't watch the end, it hasn't ended. So I can always go back and watch the end. And when you look at it, you're like, well, that animation is very kiddie. Like the style of them, it's very basic. But it works so well because they can animate it so well. And I think that's the reason why they made it very simple. But the storytelling is just phenomenal. Like, it was Sony that made it. And then,
really?
Yeah, and it's when then Disney sort of it was before they bought all the movies, they got the rights to the cartoons. And that's why it got cancelled. And
I was going to say, is that why it got cancelled?
They made the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon after that.
Right.
Which went on for 5 seasons, and it's nowhere near as good. But
do the same thing with the Avengers as well. So that awesome Avengers cartoon, they cancelled it.
Yeah, and then they brought out Assemble. And they change a lot of the way the stories are told, but they keep the main sort of meaning behind each one. Like the way that they change the Green Goblin is just so good, where that's why when the last episode, it reveals who the Green Goblin was. So for 2 seasons, you didn't know who he was.
Right.
But it was obvious that it was Harry, not Norman.
Not Norman.
But then there's a flip side in season 2 where you're like, whoa, it was Norman. Right? And because I never watched the last episode for so many years, I kept thinking, I couldn't remember if it was Norman or Harry.
Okay.
Who was it? Because it was done so well, because all the way through the show, Harry is like Peter, where he's a bit of a nerd, doesn't get on, he gets bullied. So, and his father just has no respect for him. He's like, you'll never be as good as, and he praises Peter every time he sees him because he's better in his grades and all this sort of stuff. So he goes into his lab and he takes this thing called Groblin Green. It's a little test tube.
Okay.
And it's green, and he keeps taking it, and then he decides to join the football team, and he's really good, and and then he starts passing out randomly. And like Gwen finds him in the middle of the schoolyard just passed out. What the hell? And then you're like, oh, he's taking it because he's the Green Goblin, because every time he passes out, he becomes the Green Goblin. And he wakes up, and then like the way the Green Goblin is in that show, he's just so funny. And I love his pumpkin bombs, because every time they explode, they laugh, and it's just really, really cool effect. I love it so much. So when he's throwing loads of them, he's just like laughing all over the place. It's so good. And Spider-Man is trying to dodge him and stuff. And like I said, I even if you ask me now who was the Green Goblin, I couldn't tell if it was Norman or Harry. It's so confusing. And I've only seen the episode once.
But for years.
Yeah, and I think it's Norman. I'm pretty sure it's Norman, because there's the thing that makes me not realise who it is because there's an episode where he breaks into Oscorp and Norman is there.
Okay.
And he's got this ginger guy who's his like right hand man, and they're both standing there with a security guard. And then Green Goblin's laughing when he's taking the gun. I can't remember what the gun does. But he laughs off, and you're like, well, it's definitely Harry because Norman's there. But I remember in the last episode, there's a reason how he's flipped it up and he's done something. So I'm pretty sure it's Norman. But apart from that,
so how many years have you not watched this last episode?
13 now, right? Is it 2008 you said it came out?
No, because I didn't watch it for the first 10, 12 times I watched the show.
Right, okay.
And then I watched it. I think it was when The Amazing Spider-Man was coming out.
Okay.
I was like, oh, it's, Sony rebooting a show. They might, and that show got cancelled. I wonder if they're going to kind of copy it. So I watched it again, watched the final episode, then I watched Amazing Spider-Man. And then I've watched the show ever since. I watch it at least once a year. And I haven't watched it again since.
Is this included in the final episode?
Yeah, including the final episode. I've just never watched again. But the way they do the Venom arc, and they do a...
Oh, it's great. A moment in that where he's asleep and he's fighting the Sinister Six.
Yeah.
In the Venom costume.
The Sinister Six, they decide to take him on, and they take him out in Times Square, and he can't deal with it because they don't come at him one at a time to try and wear him out.
Okay.
So he's like, Rhino comes in, and then he's like the Vulture.
Does he goes home and goes to sleep because he's so tired?
Yeah. You got Aunt May goes out with
Happy.
No,
Aunt, what's her name? Aunt Mary Jane's.
Mary Jane's aunt. I can't remember her name.
Yeah, Aunt Maggie or something.
Yeah, they go out on the town to go to a theatre, and they're there when the attack happens, and she has a heart attack, and he doesn't know about it because he's too busy fighting.
Right.
And he goes back home, and he's like, oh my God, I'm absolutely shattered. So he sets his alarm for like 6 hours. He goes, give me 6 hours. That'll be enough time for Aunt May to come home. Alarm will go off, and then I can go out and fight him. And he just sleeps through the night because he's so tired. But you don't know that.
Right.
The alarm goes off, his hand hits it, and then because he's got the venom suit, it sits under his bed and automatically goes on him. And he just flies out the window and starts fighting them. And he doesn't say a word. Because normally, that's what I love about this film. He's very jokey and quippy.
Right.
And that's why he's my favourite
It winds
version
him
of
up.
him. And he doesn't say a word, and he beats the hell out of all of them. And then at the end, Dr. Octopus is like leading them, is saying he lets all the other minions go first so that he can get him when he's weak. And he's like, I knew you, because he calls him Arachnid. He goes, Arachnid, I knew you were taking it seriously when you stopped saying your quippy jokes. And he almost kills them all until Gwen Stacy's father, Captain Stacy, stops him. And then he wakes up the next day, and he's like, oh my God, I slept for like 12 hours. What the hell happened? And he's like, he's all sore and bruised, and he doesn't know why. And then he finds out, in the newspaper the next day, and he's like, wait, I beat the Sinister Six? What the hell happened? And he realises that the suit is controlling him, and that's when he decides to get rid of it.
Right.
But the way that when he gets the suit, because like in the 94 one, it's the proper alien-looking one where it's all like shiny and it's got a symbol. The way that they do it, they copy the Spider-Man 3 one, where it's still his suit, but it's got the white webs on it.
All right, okay.
And throughout 6 episodes that he's wearing it, the webs slowly start to disappear because it's controlling him.
It starts going for weird.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
right.
as well.
It's just like the last line before
and then
fully
the
controls
symbol
him.
gets bigger and everything, and then that's why he's like, when he's fighting the Sinister Six, because it's got like full control. And the way that they do that arc is and they actually do it properly, where they bring in Jameson's son, and he lands from the space shuttle, and then he works for Doc Connors with Gwen Stacy, and they're like in charge of trying to find out what this alien life form is, and then Black Cat comes in to try and steal it, and they fight, and he doesn't realise it attaches to his foot, and that's how he gets the suit.
Right.
He doesn't even know where it comes from and everything, and then it's just the way that they do every story is just.
Damn, why they cancel this?
Yeah, I mean, I love the 94 one.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But this one, the way that, like I said, you look at it and it looks like a kid's show.
Yeah.
But it's like Young Justice, where it is
more to it.
Serious tone.
It is it's like they bring in the Chameleon, and he's got 2 henchmen that help him rob stuff. And one of them's like this tech guy that helps him build his rather than in the night where he's got that belt that just magically transforms him.
Sure.
He has like a latex mask that he wears, and then he'll do some kind of tech, because he copies Spider-Man in one of them. So they get like suction pads on his fingers, and they try and make his web shooters,
right,
and all this sort of stuff to try and be him and frame him. And then there's another guy that one of them's tech, and the other one's sort of illusions and magic.
Right.
But you don't know the names.
That's Mysterio.
Yeah, and then in season 2, Mysterio comes into it, and he's like, "It's me," and then he reveals
Mario.
himself. And he's like, "Who are you?" He's like, "Don't you remember?" It like flashes back to season 1 where he's there, and he's like Devatar, Spider-Man, where he's like trying to give him hors d'oeuvres and stuff, and it's just, I absolutely love it. That's why I watch it like at least once.
Wow, I'm still shocked about that last episode. How you just never wanted it to end.
Yeah,
and went back.
That was the thing. It was like, if I knew if I watched it, that's it. But if I knew if I left that one episode, I can go back and finish it on my own terms. It's made
when you're ready to let go.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's made by the same people that did Young Justice.
Okay,
so they made this first, got cancelled, then they made Young Justice, and then that got cancelled. Both of them are only 2 seasons. And then when it went on Netflix, and then Young Justice came back, I was like, oh, come on. Just put Spectre Spider on Netflix and bring this back, because this show is even better than that, in my opinion. And yeah, I can't recommend it enough. I really can't.
Nice.
If you like Spider-Man, watch it. Everyone I know who is a Spider-Man fan says that it's the best thing. It's better than Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, wow!
Shots fired.
100%. Because the way it is, well, rather than the Kingpin being the main bad guy, it's Tombstone.
Okay.
They flip it and then he's so much better than because he's got like the front of being like the nice billionaire, does like fundraisers and like Kingpin does, but then his henchman, rather than being Smythe, it's Hammerhead, because Hammerhead in the original one, he's like in one episode, I think, maybe two.
In the 94 one.
Yeah, he's not in it at all. But in this one, he's like this gangster that's got this badass. She's it's a driver. It's his driver. And it's a woman, and she's a badass. She'll just drive the car like an absolute beast, run people over. And he's like this gangster one. And
this is a kid show, right?
Yeah. But the way that, and then he used to have a thing with Silver Sable. So when she comes in, she's trying to break her father out, and then they're trying to get all the gang war in season 2. And then the other great thing was in season 1, it's a bit like Villain of the Week kind of thing, where they Tombstone's trying to run the underground, but he can't do it because of Spider-Man. But he finds out that when the Vulture just becomes a Vulture, and then he's like, oh wait, he's getting distracted by the Vulture, I can be the criminal, and then sort of leave him out of it. So he then employs Norman Osborn and gives him test subjects to build more supervillains to keep Spider-Man busy.
Right.
So he makes the Sandman. Rhino in this is like Rhino in the 94 one is a bit of a. I mean, he's a
dumbass.
Yeah, but he is a dumbass in this one. But the way the first episode opens with he's already Spider-Man. There's no origin.
Okay.
And
thank fuck.
I can go on for about 4 hours, boys. And
we've only got 1 hour left for recording.
The Sandman and Rhino, they're not. Then they're just what's their name? Alex something and Alexander O'Hearn and Frank Marco. They're just normal criminals, and it starts off with like Spider-Man arresting them, and it's the end of the summer where he got bitten at the beginning of the summer holidays, and then he's just Spider-Man for the summer, and he's like, this is like the 5th time this summer I've busted you guys. But Hammerhead is like their goon, so he always bails them out.
Yeah,
and then he eventually he tries to make. I can't remember. He does Sandman first, and it's an accident, and he creates him, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this works really well. Right, let's try and improve it." But like that was a fluke, so we need to make it work perfect. So they make a Rhino suit, and Doc Ock
try it with the other ones.
Doc Ock is the sort of the brains behind Norman Osborn's experiments, and they make the Rhino, and it's so good because it's like a suit that fuses onto him, like they do in the thing, and the only place he can breathe is his mouth. So Spider-Man realizes that, he just needs to keep him busy and he'll wear himself out.
Yeah.
And then in season 2, where like Hammerhead and Silver Sable and all the new gangs are trying to take over because Tombstone got taken out, they're all trying to buy the recipe or the formula that makes the Rhino. So the Rhino teams up with Spider-Man to stop because he wants to be the only Rhino. And the way that they just try and take each other out, and they do it in like this top booth in an opera, which Jonah has taken his wife to on their because it's Valentine's Day, and the way that like he's trying to be with his wife, but he's like, "No, there's a great story going on because all these gangs beat the shit out of each other outside," and like his wife just gets pissed off, and the way that Jonah. Like J.K. Simmons is a great Jonah Jameson, but he hasn't got a patch on this Jonah.
Oh, really?
The way him and Spider-Man interact, like when Comedian pretends to be Spider-Man, he's like, oh my God, this is great. Spider-Man's finally a villain. I'm going to get him. But then when the real Spider-Man turns up, he calls him Pickle Puss. And he's like, yeah, so even I'm the real one. And he's like, God damn it. It's just so, I just can't recommend it enough.
What you're saying, Ross, is it's better than the cell-shaded version that came out on M.T.V. shortly after the first Spider-Man film.
Yes. Definitely.
So does this go back to the question about the cancellation? Would you bring this back?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, number one.
He's been campaigning. There's a website if you want to sign up.
Back him up on Patreon, please, guys.
That's where our Patreon money's going.
Yeah.
He's going to do
that's going to that fund, is it?
If I had the skill, I'd do season 3.
Wow. How the fuck do I follow that?
Well,
okay. Well, you
start singing the theme tune.
Yeah.
This is it. Somebody. So yeah, as everyone knows, Smallville is my favorite, my number one. This is actually quite interesting because when this came out and people were talking about this show, I didn't like the whole idea about Clark being friends with Lex Luthor and all that sort of stuff. And I thought, these guys are meant to be enemies. That sounds ridiculous. And being a blockbuster at the time, people were just constantly recommending it enough, and I just backed away from it for ages, just left it aside. And then I think when it came to its 4th season, that's when Blockbuster started renting out TV box sets.
Right.
And I thought, you know what, I've got nothing else to watch at the moment. Let's give this a go. So I started with one. And in theory, thinking about it, Smallville was probably my first sort of origin story TV show that I watched.
Probably the first one that did it, right?
Yeah, exactly. It was the one that started it all. Plus Kelly Brook was in it, which is a good thing as well. But it was just, I just look back at it now and think, why was I so naive with this? And just should have stuck with it from the beginning, even though I caught up really fast with it. But I started watching season 1, and my girlfriend / now wife caught me watching an episode, and she was like,
Kelly Brookman.
"Yeah,
On repeat.
Kelly Brook. No.
On repeat.
She's like, oh, this is actually quite interesting because I think the whole love triangle thing with him and Lana and all that sort of stuff just got her invested into it, and then again we watched it together ever since, and it's just one of those ones where it reminds me of going back to what you're saying about Lois and Clark, how it had that story had that opening where, you know, it was rinse and repeat very much, but then you had the occasional story where Clark turned bad and
The whole cave thing where he becomes Kal-El.
That's it. What happens at the end of season 4? That big pyramid thing shows up. What was it called again? It's like a doomsday thing, wasn't it? It's going to bug me now.
No, isn't season 4, that's the one where he makes the fortress?
That's the beginning of season 5.
Yeah, the end of season 4.
Yeah, end of season 4, yeah. But yeah, it was just good how that, and then you've got, obviously, if you know the origin of Superman, everything shows up. Like Perry White shows up in season 3. Yep. You've got the death of Jonathan Clark in season 5. Oh, so it's just don't, man, that episode.
R.I.P.
Is that the one where Lana dies and then he?
Yes,
and then he changes it, and then he goes. Who does he speak to change it? Jor-El. He goes, but if you change it, something worse will happen, and his dad dies. Yes.
He goes, you can't. Somebody can't die. You have to be somebody else in replace.
Yeah,
but he doesn't know who, and it ends up being his. I like every time.
Hello.
Like the first time he gets the red kryptonite ring. In season 3.
Yes.
Oh my god! It's just. Oh my god! I love that bit so much.
Yeah, I mean, because again, this
is rides off on the bike.
Yes, that's the end of season.
Yeah, this is going back to learning more about who you love, the characters you love. Because obviously you know Superman, but I was completely oblivious to the different types of kryptonite, the different colours, and what they do to him and whatnot. So that was an eye-opener. But one of my favourite episodes is how he learns to get the heat vision, yeah.
He's looking at the teacher, isn't he?
He gets horn, basically. And I thought that was just amazing because he's such a young teenage kid at the time and whatnot.
And he has to talk to his parents about it.
Yeah.
Oh, what were you thinking about at the time?
Yeah, exactly.
Boobs?
Yeah, but I mean...
Because when he goes to control it, he's got a watermelon on the fence or something, hasn't he? And his father's saying, and he says the word Lana, and that's how he can control it. And then you're like, from then onwards, he always thinks of Lana probably when he's controlling his heat vision. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed that whole relationship between them as well. That he obviously was madly in love with her, but couldn't go near her because of the necklace.
Yeah,
whole thing, and then she was obviously going out with that other guy, and just their whole relationship as it grew. Yes,
bits as well when other members of the Justice League started showing up.
Yes,
young Barry Allen.
Yes,
and I love that episode.
It was Bart.
It was Bart. Was it Bart?
Impulse, yeah,
because
season 3, wasn't it?
Yeah. They do the thing that I love properly in that is where Clark's like, I've got another guy that I can run really fast with, even though he's saying his powers. And right at the end of the episode, they're having a race.
That's right.
He just turns around and goes.
Yeah. He does it backwards, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Because Bart wants to leave, and he goes, "Well, what about stay?" And he goes, "I'll race you for it."
Yeah. So Clark's starting to pull ahead, and he just turns around.
No, but Clark's looking like he's really trying, and then he just turns around backwards and says, "See you later." And you're like,
and it's like,
"Oh, okay, he's
the
faster."
Flash is always faster. Yeah.
It's so good because I love just a little bits of it because they obviously bring Green Arrow into it a while, and there's one episode where it's like Green Arrow, Flash. Aquaman's in it.
Yes,
there's someone.
I swear Hawkman's in it at some point as well.
Yeah, but it's this episode where the Justice League are together and they're all got their code names. It's like, yeah, I've got Boy Scout. He goes, well, what the hell's Boy Scout? As well, you went around with the nickname with the code names, so we just called you Boy Scout.
I think the best episode of Green Arrow is when they go to a fancy dress party. And he's dating Lois.
Yes.
And he's dressed as Robin Hood.
Yeah, he looks exactly like Green Arrow.
Yeah, and then they arrive in his car, and they arrive because he's living above the cafe. And she's like, you can come in. All you have to do is hit that can at the end. And then there's like a drinking can on the end. he pulls out his arrow, and then you see him aim, and then he just aims a little bit upwards and releases, and it looks like he missed. But when you zoom in on it, he's taking the ring pull off it, and it's spinning on the arrow, and you're like, damn, motherfucker. He just gave up and show it off, you know.
That was awesome.
Well, that raises the important question, though. Have you seen the last crossover from the CW?
Crisis.
Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Because it's on the P word thing.
Yeah.
But it's all cut together. I haven't finished watching it, but I have started it.
So you haven't seen...
No.
Okay.
No.
Right.
But I mean,
Spoilers!
I mean, okay, so like other bits that I really remember about that show is Supergirl, because she was really hot.
Oh, yeah.
When she was going for that Smallville bikini contest.
Oh,
that was great.
Yeah.
She's trying to like, put the book on her head, and he's like, what are you doing? He's like, yeah. But the best...
Season 7, episode 4.
10 minutes, 32
On loop.
You heard it here, folks.
This is where you find the VHS copies. Really worn thin
The
from
DVD
being
box is
paused.
coming out from the loft.
That's right. But I remember because they always...
4K Blu-ray.
Sure, yeah.
or your massive UTV. Which has got wipe surface. I always remember when that show was out, they said they'd never get to the bit where he was Superman. I remember the last the last few series is when he went to start working at Daily Planet, and him and Lois actually started having a relationship. I was like, this is getting pretty. And the whole thing of her being like, you need to be unnoticeable, you need to be nerdy. Glasses. Yeah. It was actually her idea to do that, because he's usually quite stoic and stuff. And then they had the whole Zod thing. But the bit I always remember is in the last couple of episodes, I remember doing this. I was sitting in my flat with Grace at the time. It was Grace.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was Grace. It must have been. How was this show?
I don't know they hear this one.
No, it wasn't.
Okay, another person.
Yeah.
I'm in my flat.
Another female.
Sitting on my laptop. Sitting on my laptop watching
Headphones on.
watching the episode. I was just watching, and there's this bit where it's Lionel Luthor's been overtaken by Darkseid.
Yes.
Darkseid, yeah. And he like pushes Clark in the barn, and he just flies back, and suddenly he starts floating. I just like remember shouting, putting my hands up, and going, "He's flying!" He's actually, because there's so many hints through the season of like he kind of does.
Wasn't Darkseid like the negativity of Smallville or something?
It was all the
where he
evil
got his
from
power from.
Metropolis.
That's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and he's just flying, and I'm just like, oh my god, he's actually fucking flying. It's been 10 years, and he's actually happening.
And there's like Jor-El starts speaking, and he's like, it like flashes back through the whole 10 years.
Yeah.
Of everything is a trial leading up to this moment.
Yeah.
And then Jonathan turns up in the fortress, and he's just holding his suit,
Yeah, he's on, yeah.
and he's like, "It's your time."
And then he
just grabs it,
and he flies up, and then and
changes.
you don't they didn't have the rights to actually show him in it. But it just
And then he's flying to Metropolis, and you've got Apocalypse coming towards him, and you just got Green Arrow, Oliver Queen looking up, goes, "Go get him, Clark."
And he flies to the plane because Lois is on the plane, and she sees him.
Did she see him? I was going to say,
She's the first person to see him as Superman.
Yeah, because he has to save the plane.
I love that so much.
Flying is still the safest way to travel.
Yeah, and it just I never thought it would end. I never thought he'd end, because the last shot is him going onto the rooftop and
opening it up, isn't it? Yeah.
And I never thought that was going to happen in that
Tell
show.
Mary White there's a bomb uptown.
I just never
And
thought
the music starts kicking in.
Yeah,
and
I just never thought, because they always said they never get that far, but they actually at the end they went, all right, let's do it properly.
Satisfying ending to
that
10
massive
years.
tease when, is it season 2 or 3, when he gets possessed by Jor-El briefly, and he's
Yeah,
I think it's
he
the
flies.
end-
in
he
that.
flies,
Yeah,
and
The end of season 2, isn't it?
and
he's
everyone's
in
like,
that black shirt. He
Yeah.
flies up and takes
It's
the
the,
Lex
it's
in the
it's
plane.
the end of season 3, beginning of season 4.
All right, okay.
so you were flying. Oh, what? And it's
Yeah.
like,
I love that bit where he's on the farm and he's like cow,
Yeah.
and his mother's like slamming his chest, going, "Give me my son back!"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Your son is dead." No, Clark Kent is dead.
You sounded like Mel Gibson from Ransom just then.
give me back my son.
Give me back my son!
And then he just like pushes her out of the way, and then he flies for the first time
Yeah,
because he can hear the crystal that Lex has got on his
on the plane.
plane.
Yeah,
Oh, I love that bit so much, man. I wish I've got.
Because there's a bit as well where isn't he dancing with Lana or something? He starts floating. And he doesn't even realise it. Unlike
Yeah,
one
he's in the
episode.
barn. That's like season 8, season 7. Yeah.
And he's just like, oh, he's flying. Then he doesn't even realise.
I for season 7 when Supergirl comes into it, for me, like when they got up to season 4 to 7, it kind of dipped for me. There was like episodes but when
Lex had gone by then
yeah,
as well.
and Lana become a witch,
Yeah.
and I was kind of like,
Yeah.
what is going on with this? But I kind of liked that season because it still had the crystals, and he was trying to get them together, and then it made the fortress.
Is that the same series where James Master shows up and it turns out he's Brainiac?
No, that was
later
after.
on. Oh, because that's a great episode as well, because he gets taken to the future, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And he sees what he's going to become.
And that's the same season where the Legion of Superheroes turn up.
Yes.
And then he's like, you can't tell him his name and everything.
Yeah.
And But yeah, like when season 7 came into it, I felt like from then onwards they kind of, it felt like they knew where they wanted to end it, and it just, because he arrived at the day planet, became a reporter.
So Zod was 8, right? Was that 8?
Yes,
He was like the blur. He was like black. He was wearing. Was he blue and red first, and he started to start wearing all black?
No, he was wearing black first. Then
black first.
blue.
Then he went
I feel like season 7 onwards, because I remember, so I got them all on DVD, and then season 7 was they first started making Blu-rays.
Yes,
right. And I was like, oh, it just felt so much better. But I think it was season 4. There was the kid that was in Lost. I can't remember, Ian something. I think he's in like Vampire Diaries.
Yeah, Boone. The guy who plays Boone in.
Yeah, he's like an injury, and he meets
Lana.
Lana.
I know you're on about. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, right. When I was watching that, because like now you know me, I never like spoilers. I never watch anything. When Smallville was on, as soon as the episode finished, I went straight on the forums and I was talking to people. What do you think? What do you reckon? What's happening here? I used to read everything, and everybody thought as soon as he came, he was Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Everyone thought he was Bruce Wayne, because if you watch it back, he's like a mysterious guy, never tells you his past. He's really good at fighting, and then like he comes in, and you're like, yeah, this could be, yeah, it could be Bruce Wayne. I was like, oh, this would be awesome. It was Bruce, and he never told that he wasn't. I was like, man.
Doomsday was in it for a season as well, wasn't
Yeah.
Yeah, because you had the guy
Eric something.
He plays Star Killer
Season 9,
in
I think it is.
the Star Wars games.
Force Sunday.
I know you're about the Yellow Star Killer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He voices Darth Maul.
Yes,
and the Emperor and stuff.
That's right.
And all
Yeah,
the cartoons and stuff.
do it.
He was such a good. Because like when you first see him, he's like a really nice guy, and then
so he starts changing, doesn't he?
His mother turns up, who created him from Krypton, and she just kills him. And you're like, what the hell? And it's because it makes him more powerful, and it's like, oh, this is pretty cool. Yeah, and I think that was the first season he became a reporter as well, because I remember him being. There was like a bus blew up, and he kind of like saved the day and come back, and he was still in his suit and tie and everything.
Yes,
yeah, because he was a paramedic, wasn't he?
Yes,
trying to save lives, and he was part of his bloody Doomsday.
Bloody yo-yo.
Yeah, but no, even like I said, every season had the same sort of episodes, but every season offered you something. We haven't even mentioned that Christopher Reeves was in season 2 as well.
Yeah.
And I thought that was just a nice little
the way
pass
that
the
he was the one
thing.
that told him his
name,
his origin and stuff.
Yes, right.
So
and then you heard the theme in the background, like, oh my god, my dick's getting hard.
And Diana Lang was in it as well, didn't she?
That's right. Yeah. Margaret Kidder was. She showed up in it.
Yeah, she was like the scientist that worked with
right.
Christopher Reeve, wasn't it? Yeah.
And even his mum was Lana Lang from the movie.
Yep. And he had Helen Slater, who was Supergirl, was his real mum, I think.
Yeah.
And then you also had Dean Cain came into it.
Was he in it?
Yeah. And you had Jimmy Olsen as well, was a Kryptonian, but he wore a blue Kryptonian watch to become human.
There's quite a few cameos.
There's some great stuff in that show.
Going back to what we said.
If it wasn't for that, none of these shows would be around nowadays.
Yeah, I was about to say that. It's the one that started the whole CW stuff, wasn't it? Yeah.
The popularity of the characters getting people back into it.
It's also my favourite Lois Lane. I think she's perfect as Lois Lane.
Yeah, and she's super awesome.
Yeah. But the beach scene when she
Going
comes
back,
out. Yeah.
I was talking about the stripper scene.
I was about to say that, damn it!
That's season 4 now.
Yeah. But no, again, it's such a great show that...
Hard on.
It's such a great hard on as well. Was a great hard on as well.
10-year hard on.
Again, people that I didn't think would watch it, like my sister started watching it. And
she liked the Kelly Brook bits as well.
She did. Who doesn't? So her husband certainly does anyway. But,
he does. I'm sure he does.
Season 4, there's a prom episode.
Yes.
And,
not the first prom episode with the tornadoes in season.
No.
That's the one
I think it's like the end school prom. He dances with Lana, and it's to the song by Lifehouse.
Yes,
yeah.
My sister used that as a walk down the aisle.
Oh, really?
Nice. Yeah,
because of that
taken
show.
Because of that show.
Similar vein.
And the thing is, like, I'm kind of like recording it, reminiscing it, and then I was like, oh my god, Lana in the prom.
You talked about the music of the show. I was cleaning my car boot out the other day. I found my Remy Zero CD.
Nice.
I got the album because there's a few songs on the show that is on the album that's on the show. I mean, that is one of the greatest theme tunes ever.
Yeah.
I mean,
it pumped you up as soon as that.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
And the first 2 seasons had like you said, like Rob said, they had cracking CDs. So I was waiting, like every season would have a decent one.
Yeah. What was the cafe called?
Talon.
Yeah. And they had the Talon collection, wasn't it?
The Talon mix.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, volume 1 and
because
2.
there's one where Pete's like
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
They're doing Somebody Save Me, but he's DJing at the same time. It's like, how does that even work? But who would have thought what happened to Chloe and Lana in the future? Now that they joined that
actress.
sex cult and whatnot, didn't they?
It wasn't Lana, it was just Chloe.
Was it? I thought Lana was
It was
as well.
Chloe and some executive producer.
Oh, I swear it was Lana.
No, it
or
wasn't
something about her anyway.
Because
Wishful thinking.
I remember watching
Yeah.
a Dragon Con panel and somebody asked about it, and somebody on the side of the mic goes, "Do not talk about that." She was
Next question. Next question.
That's it.
Yeah, that was weird.
It's funny as well because obviously that Lex Luthor is Flash from the
Yep.
Justice League cartoon as well.
Yes.
He's like such a big fan, and like
Do you watch his YouTube
podcast.
channel?
Yeah.
He does loads of. He does a great YouTube channel about talking with celebrities and stuff. And there's rumours of him and Tom Welling trying to do like some sort of animated Smallville show.
Yeah. I hope that happens
That'd be really cool.
because they had the comic, didn't they, where they continued on with it.
Yes, they did, yeah.
So yeah, that's it.
Great show.
Has to be number one.
Good pick.
I
Yeah,
miss
very
it.
big. I do.
Last question was I think you've all pretty much answered it in your top fives anyway. Was you go back and rewatch it and just never get bored of it? But clearly that's the case because they're in your top fives.
Yeah.
100%. I'm gonna have to go back and watch Smallville again now as well.
And I'm really considering that, to be honest.
watched
But
it
I need to go watch Young Justice first before I do
Yes,
that.
you
So
do. Yes, you do.
yeah,
The when I was talking about Spider-Man, it reminded you. The first question was like, was there any show that got you into it?
yes.
I completely forgot the '60s Spider-Man show.
Yeah.
That's why that's why you've mentioned it in a previous episode. That's why I was like,
yeah, because I mentioned it. I wore red underpants on my head. Did I talk about that last time?
No, you didn't.
My parents wouldn't buy me a Spider-Man costume, so the closest thing I had
make
was
a shift.
red underpants.
With it down.
yeah, no, so they look like
Clean ones?
yeah.
I was about to say,
I've got a picture of it somewhere. And,
I know this picture of you in
and
a
then
Superman
I was
costume.
running around the front garden, like up and down the street on them. And my dad's like, "No son of mine's gonna be running with these underpants." And he took me straight to the store and bought me the costume. I was like, "Yeah,
yes.
Oh, so all I have to
they're
do
like
is
this
find
poor
a
kid
man
with-
to run at the front. I can buy figures at Grace White Mark.
yeah." Embarrass him with their
Put your underpants on your head. To be blessed him. Go and buy it.
Some parent was shouting out. They were like, "This makes it go on your outside of your." I'm not Superman, man.
Amazing. Were they Spider-Man underpants?
No, they were just red.
Just
I
okay.
couldn't even afford a
Felt to draw the black lines on? Loser.
So yeah, thanks guys for coming down.
Yeah, welcome, man. It's been fun.
Really enjoyed that. Yeah, and a couple of clashes there, but not as many as I thought we were going to have. To be honest.
I think
Yeah.
when you asked us to do top five, we were sitting again. We were all obviously going to pick 2 or 3 shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, drop them out.
But no, because
Pick some other
Stu
ones.
texted me saying, "Can we have animated in there as well?" I was like, "Yes, because we're going to clash."
That's what I was going to ask because if you noticed, all of mine were virtually animated.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah,
So
yeah. I think apart from 2, mine were
yeah.
So we'll finish it there, guys. Yeah, just want to say a big thank you to the Legends of Podcasting for coming down. I really appreciate you guys coming down. Rob, I hope you had a good time, mate, and come back for future episodes as well.
Please.
So yeah, guys, if you enjoyed what you listened to, follow us on Facebook at the M.T.V.B. Podcast or on Instagram at M.T.V.B. Podcast. And now we're on TikTok, which is at M.T.V.B. Podcast 197. So guys, Legends of Podcasting, thank you again very much. And you heard it here first. Watch Young Justice.